Sup, homos? What's going on? What's been happening? I'll show you guys where I am. I'm actually in Kazakh at the moment, so I'll show you guys here. Beautiful Kazakhstan. I don't know if you guys can see that. Beautiful mountains up in the corner. I don't know if you guys can see where all of this is. But Kazakhstan is a beautiful spot. I don't want to tell you guys that it's good, though, because then you guys will pull up. And I want to fucking not tell anyone to pull up here. I want to keep it to myself, you could say. So I don't want to tell you guys it's good. Because I think that I believe that I put Warsaw on the map, like for foreigners. Before me, with Warsaw, foreigners didn't really know anything about Warsaw. Now it's full of foreigners. I'm like that guy. I don't know if you've ever played. Is it World War Z, where essentially you go in and you contain the zombies, and you put like the flag down, and it makes it so that other people can attend. Like that's okay to go there. Before that, I mean, people weren't really running around Warsaw, and now I believe that I put it on the map. It's just part of it. It's just who I am. You know, I put it on the map for others. And now, yeah, we're in Kazakhstan at the moment. Beautiful spot. Good people. What's happening with crypto? You guys getting cucked yet or what? You guys losing a ton of money in crypto or what? I haven't even been going to the gym. I haven't just been going to the gym yet, but I've still built like fucking Hercules. I got 2 laptops going. I got one of my laptops going only to find out I've been banned on Tinder, which is amazing. I've been banned on Tinder in a way that I get banned even if I like load it up on a different app. I've tried the laptop where I load it up on a laptop with a new fucking laptop, new email, new phone numbers. I'm banned on a like not just a photo level. Like my photos aren't just banned, my face is banned. So even when I use new photos, I get sent straight to the face verification. And then I get cucked. Yeah, Warsaw was not on the map for foreigners until I believe that I put it on the map. Yeah, some foreigners were there before me, but not in the way that I was. You know, and the crew as well put it on the map, made it a safe space for foreigners. A lot of foreigners, if they were honest with themselves, would have been bullied in Warsaw before me. I got some respect there for the foreigners, so that's part of it. Before I went there, the foreigners that were in Warsaw were just mostly dweebs running around Zloty, like hitting on chicks and just being fucking like general just nerds. That's the truth. Like if you're running around the malls, as I've said a zillion times, you're annoying. Like you're just lowering the atmosphere for others. You're being disruptive. You know, you shouldn't be running around. I don't understand why people think that they have a right to just run around and approach people in public. Like someone's just walking to work or someone's just trying to do their daily endeavor and someone just sprints up to them and then starts screaming at them, expecting that they're to be spoken to. Doesn't give you the right just because someone's in public to run up and harass them. Some people don't like that. I don't like that. And I'm sure that if you were honest with yourself, you wouldn't like that either. Would you really like strange people running up to you and just harassing you when you're on your way to work? Some people don't like that. The USD worthless in relation to what? In relation to other fiats, I think it will be okay. The worst thing about cold approach is rejections compound. Like they've convinced you that for some reason getting rejected means it's like a badge of courage or something. I had the courage to be rejected 100 times. It's stupid. The more often that you are rejected in life on certain things, especially on like, you know, any social level, it builds up a level of damage. No one likes to be rejected. It's just that's pretty normal. So you shouldn't really get to a point where it's normalized. Otherwise, it's going to be problematic for your future. It's part of it. No one even likes to be rejected. Like if you walk up to a pet or a cat or something and you go to pat it and then it runs off on you, people don't like that. And you shouldn't be in a position where you're just like, oh, I'm hardened to that. Nah, that's a good thing for some reason. Bitcoin itself, if you guys, again, I hate to just drop so much sauce on you because I have my crypto group that's paid. But if you guys aren't buying here, like you're not going to make it. Again, I don't know why you're buying on leverage, of course, but you should be buying altcoins. They're extremely depressed here. If you were buying leverage here, you're a retard. But if you're buying altcoins, you're going to get like on most of the bags are 4 or 5 or a 10x in the next 12 months. But you'd be sitting there in leverage being like, oh no, I need to turn my $1,000 into $1 million because some fucking nerd that's paid by the hyper liquid and all of the other exchanges told me that it's easy to get rich in leverage. Told you guys leverage exchanges is just basically you're at the casino and you just think that it's like some job that you can have, like you can be a professional poker player, but you can't. Most people can't. Even the Phil Hellmuths and things like that, they just get recharged by poker stars and the companies that like they fund them because they still go broke. That's what they don't tell you. They can make millions of dollars in a tournament and they go broke in the next year. Happens to them very often. Like poker players, that's part of it. Unless you're a Dan Bilzerian who got rich off his dad and then runs around and tells everyone that he's fucking made all of this money in poker. How sad. Like some people are really fucking sad. Like everyone wants to be self-made. If your dad's worth tens of millions of dollars, you're not self-made. Like you never were. You can't be. Like just by having a dad who has access to that sort of a network, you're not self-made. It's the truth of the matter. He's not self-made. Like, yeah, he might have done some decisions that are good and all of this crap, and he's done all this shit, but he just wants to be the guy who's made it out of nothing, but he didn't. His dad was rich, incredibly rich. It's different. Favorite altcoin of the upcoming season. I told you guys about Zen. And what is it now? I think it's like up 100% in this shitty market. I told you guys, I told my circle in crypto, SLB crypto, AIA. So what is it? DH in AI. And I think it's up 4x from when I told the group, my SLB crypto guys. Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to be self-made because again, they just insecure when they look in the mirror. All that they have though, if your dad is someone, you just have a higher ceiling. Like there's nothing wrong with having rich parents. Like there's nothing wrong with that. You just have a higher ceiling and meaning that you have also higher expectations. If you inherit 10 million, well, then you're expected to make 100 million. If you inherit zero, then getting to the idea of, oh, I'm going to die a millionaire and I'm going to leave my kid like a house or two, well, you've done extremely well. But that's the truth of the matter. That's it. Like if you 10x your net worth or 10x what you were left in inheritance, that's great. But Bilzerian has like 0x his net worth. I mean, he's fundamentally nuked it just to impress a bunch of thoughts. So that's the nature of life. Like that's the truth. It's easy to go broke. Again, being like, living a lifestyle like that. And I'm not saying that he's bad or anything like that. I'm sure that he's quite smart. Earth all-time high before 2026. I thought that it would be the end of the year, but I don't say that it's impossible, but it's becoming less likely. But this crypto rinse out is not as bad as you would think. Like this crypto drop isn't a bad thing. I know that it seems probably bad for many, specifically for altcoins, but this happens off the back of quantitative tightening. Like this has happened historically. We may crash in December, or like if we end QE or QT December 1, right? We may crash like in January. Maybe Bitcoin goes to like 80K and alts crash another 30, 40% from here. It's possible. Enjoying slowly getting through breaking free. Speaking to a guy from Warsaw in there. Great to meet like-minded lads. It's good. That's good to hear. It's well, fuck. Are you fucking buy YouTube Premium then? I don't know. I don't have. I actually don't have YouTube Premium though either. I had it. I was using Fight Geckos, so Fabian's, and then I had it in Warsaw. I was using it because he logged into my account. I don't buy that premium shit. It's part of it. But I mean, you can if you want. Otherwise, you're going to get ads, I guess. But Michael Burry, Michael Burry had a very good glimpse in time where he was lucky. And now, ever since his calls have been horrible. He doesn't understand the tech sector at all. He's just like, he's a sensationalist and he's still getting off over the Big Short. But if you've ever followed any of his calls since then, you've just been fucked. He's a nothing. Like Michael Burry is a nothing. Like he's shit. They wrote a movie after him, but that's it. Do you think the US government is cooked? It's not going to reopen, is it? It's going to reopen, but they're stacking the deck for kind of like stacking the deck for a lot of things. So the US will run as a symbol of like an empress system. This idea of like these 4-year elections and shit like that, that's running out. The US is going to change. Like all of this stuff has changed out of the States. The US is completely different ever since this lockdown. Oh, essentially, the lockdown, the shutdown that's happened. They're just restacking the deck. They're firing a lot of people and they're probably restacking judges and a bunch of other shit so that they don't lose again. Like so that they don't lose another term. I said Trump will do 12 years. It's likely if he doesn't get assassinated. And I'm not saying that I would hope that he does because I don't. But it's possible. I mean, it's possible. It's just as possible. There's a lot of crap out of the States, and there's a lot of anger, and there's a lot of shit, and there's a lot of people that are pissed off in general. And there's a lot of false flags and a lot of psyops. And I had a vision where it looked like the US, but 10 or 20% of a major city burnt down around 2028. So I would believe that happens, and that's going to happen in a period of mass riots. Because again, understand that most people don't realize that in work, like I'm not saying everyone, because it depends what job you do, but a lot of you aren't needed and they don't know how to tell you. Like the government shutdowns and things like that, they're not needed. So they're actually doing shutdowns and hoping that people like leave and quit their job and all this stuff, but they're not actually rehiring anyone. Powell said it as well. He's like, there's no hiring going on anywhere. That's just it. Like they're talking about guys graduating from fucking university or college, like a million people competing for 10 or 15,000 jobs. Like what hope do you have? How would they end the 4-year elections? I mean, everyone would go mental, but like the whole system is going to change already. A lot of people again are going to be moved onto a UBI idea, so you won't really have an option to go mental. But the US itself, they have to get rid of the firearms. Like that's going to be a thing that they have to press, which I imagine will probably be a chaos phase first. The only thing stopping the US is from the essential dictatorship to come is the firearms. Can't really control them too much because people still have guns, and if people get sick of it, they still have a mass amount of them that have it. But they'll just disarm them. The US will have a period where eventually there'll be like Palantir drones and shit like that just swarming around. And if you're a cancelled person, I don't know exactly what they'll do, how they will contain you, but you'll be walking around and a drone will sight you when you're a cancelled person and you'll have very big problems. You might not be, I don't know exactly how they'll do it because they won't be able to contain them all into prisons. And essentially, what it'll be is that you won't reproduce. Like, if you're a person who's cancelled, they don't want you to reproduce because they don't want you to teach any of the shit or your beliefs on. So they just cancel you over a genetical time frame. They know eventually that you're going to die out. So they'll be able to kind of push you out anyway. I think that the US, it's not that the monetary system, the US dollar won't be worthless. Like it just depends what you compare it to. Like if you're comparing it to other fiats, it'll still be okay. But over a long enough time frame, that shit's all going to zero. Yes. Zen, I have targets for Zen in the 3 digits. There is a world where Zen goes to $1,000 because it has we have the base chain. I mean, that would be what, like 15 billion or some shit. But we have the central base chain, the token fucking distribution when Q1 or Q2. I would say probably Q2 from Coinbase. So essentially that chain will go live. And there's not a lot of good projects on Base and Horizon. Zen, it's not a bad pro. I think 4 digits might be pushing it, but a few $100 is I think, likely. We'll see how it goes though. I'm the only one who's essentially makes such outlandish calls, and we'll see. What advice would you give to a fresh college grad who really wants to make it, but he's cucked by the job market right now? I don't know what you graduated in, but I think that I would be careful. I hope that you graduated in something where you can essentially get work. I would just be working. Is the S&P overpriced? That depends what stocks and what parts you're looking at. Most of the stock market is only the Magnificent Seven. So that's a big problem. If you're investing outside of the certain sectors, you haven't had a good return in the S&P for a very long time. That's just the nature of it, and that's just really all that there is to say. Unfortunately, business studies. Yeah, I guess I mean, you're studying business studies, but depends what it is that you want to do. I mean, I would just be looking for some sort of job. I wouldn't be looking at something that's too crazy, and then I would be looking to start some sort of consulting or something for another company or a business aligned so that you can just start earning money at least. I wouldn't be sitting there thinking that I'm going to get the perfect job because I don't think that such a thing would exist. Look at this faggot. Do you avoided going to you got the jab just not to go to prison? I got the jab because I had a fucking daughter out, you stupid cunt. I have a daughter in Australia. Essentially I didn't want to go to prison at that point because she was still a baby. But how am I saving myself that I chose to get a vaccination? A lot of you guys are autistic, like on the spectrum, definitely. Some guys think that just because someone got the vax or something like that, again, a lot of your leadership and guys that you look to got the vax and they just tell people that they didn't get it. A lot of you who didn't get the vax, again, like you're a loser in society, so it's easy not to get vaccinated. Like I'd barely have a job. I just sit home on mummy's titty and I'm suckling on her milk, so it's easy for me to not get vaccinated. I'm not in society anyway, so that would have been a lot easier. Some of us have responsibilities. We have people that count on us, so we couldn't just sit there and be like, I'm just going to lose my job. I had a daughter. I pay her schooling and all of the rent and everything. I can't just sit home and suck on mummy's titty. It's not an option for me. Mark of the beast is different. Getting a vaccination is not the mark of the beast. Getting a vaccination is essentially you weigh up the odds and you just go forward with it. I didn't sit here and lie. I could easily just tell people I didn't get it, like most people that you guys follow. I got it, but again, I only regretted it in the way that I regretted it because I got sick from it. I got eustachian tube dysfunction, and then when I was fucking some of the time too, my dick wasn't 100%, and I had issues where when I would drink, I would be fucked up as well, and that's just part of it. But again, you make a decision and you move forward. That's just all you can do. It's part of it. But when I got the vaccination, I never pushed it on other people, but I also never said that I didn't get it. I didn't make other people get it. And then when I had side effects, again, I just dealt with it. I had to pay for my own medical and shit like that. But that's just part of it. Like, that's all that you can really do. You can't just sit there and be too upset about it. How do you fix those problems? I fixed one of the, so I had eustachian tube dysfunction, which means that one of the sides is the different pressure. Like one ear has a different pressure than the other. And you feel off balance a lot of the time. And then if you drink, it fucks you up. But I learned this thing, I Googled it and searched it. And there's something that you can do, the Kipling maneuver or something like that. And it's some crap that they do where you got to like roll and be on certain angles and it actually fixed it. I forget what it is. I'll have to search it and I'll be able to type it in what it was. But it's some maneuver that they do where, but it did help. And that's really all that worked. They didn't know what to do. And they told me that it wasn't because of the vaccinations and all that crap. And when I was fucking too, my dick wasn't 100% in that period. It does something to your blood vessels. I believe that's 100% sure. And that's just it. Like there's nothing that you can really. He's no one that you can be angry at. Again, it's just the way that the world is set up. The companies when they do these the medical companies and things like that, they're actually incentivized to hurt people. It's not that they're incentivized just to like monetize you and things like that. Their business is actually making people sick or keeping them sick. Unfortunately, that's a big thing. That's what you can do. Yeah, being from Poland and local, I know what you talk about. Foreigners coming. Yeah, there's a lot of foreigners in Poland now, and unfortunately, there's a lot of money nerds. And when money nerds come into an economy, they destroy it. Like the worst thing about like people in Poland and things like that is the Polish people are good, but they don't have a lot of money, a lot of them. And now you're going to find when money nerds arrive that are foreigners, they'll just price you out of the pussy market completely. Because you get a lot of these dweebs that come in and they're like, this 5 out of 10, I want to take her to Nobu, I want to take her here, I want to take her there, gassing her up and telling her how special she is and doing a bunch of foreigner stuff where they just lie to chicks. And then now you're going to really struggle to even get laid, like as time progresses. Because money corrupts everything. Like money does corrupt all women, even good ones, over a long enough time frame. Kazakhstan is good. Any stories that would help that you learn traveling? What if Poland or UAE doesn't allow you back? I just only do what I can do. I'm not too worried. I'm in UAE. I mean, not right now, but they told me that there's a chance that I'll get my residency through, but I just have to see. It's hard because I have criminal for selling drugs. And even though it was a very long time ago, they don't like drugs, which is fine. It's their country. So that's it. But I'll see how it is. It's like 10 years old. So yeah, the Big Short guy, I don't consider the Big Short guy as anyone. Like we only know him because of the movies. But again, there's a lot of shit that he's done that is retarded since then. He's done like it's like anything. Like one person does a good call, but if the next 100 get you liquidated, then it doesn't. The one matter didn't matter. Using herbs, yeah, I guess that stuff probably does help in that sort of shit. Oh, let's do some crazy stories while you're on the streets before you made it out. I have fair few crazy stories. I never really talk about them. I can't talk about my stories in Dubai because they don't like any stories about drugs. But that's the story. Yeah. I mean, good girls in Warsaw. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's like anything. Big city always corrupts. Like big cities corrupt people. It's a big part of it. It's like Dubai. Like Dubai is a good spot, but by the time that some girl has arrived in Dubai, she's already gone through all of this. Like she's already gone through everything. She's already reached the top of the so-called totem pole, as it were. So there's nothing left to really like experience with you. She's already done all of that. So if she's already done all of that, I mean, how's it going to be great for you? Have I been to Cyprus casinos? No. Screw S&P and just stick with Mag 7. Mag 7, I mean, they can do well, and I would assume that they'll continue to do well. I just think crypto's so undervalued here that you wouldn't really care about the S&P like I would. I wouldn't be giving a shit about any stocks at the moment because crypto essentially is undervalued. There'll be a huge super cycle for altcoins because it's just the last lottery ticket play for normies. Like everyone knows that. Like everyone's going to reach a point where they're going to look in the mirror one day, realize they're going to be fired. It's going to be 2027. OpenAI is going to launch at $1 trillion plus, and they're going to be like, I miss this sector. I need to get in early. I got to get in the tech that's going to replace me. And they'll just be like, I have $1,000. How do I turn it into $100,000? How do I turn it into $1 million? And then you get an altcoin season that you've never seen before because it'll be the final cycle of absolute panic. Like people will be panicking on the street. Like I need to make it now. How do I make it today? So all those gurus and all of those guys that are doing shit is that's the thing. He monetized on YouTube. I monetize on YouTube, but I can't actually use the like withdrawal function because I never set it up because it's irrelevant. Like the money that it makes is pretty irrelevant. But what are important herbs for sexual health? Most of that stuff is just temporary. Like most of the shit that you're going to take, Tribulus or any of that other crap, it's just going to make you horny in the beginning and then just it goes back to normal. Testosterone's another. Like test is something that essentially in the first 4 to 6 weeks, if you're taking, I don't know, sustanon, test it, enanthate, cyprit, whatever the fuck you're on, it's going to make you horny in like the first month or two, but you're just going to get used to having higher T. And then it doesn't make you as horny as it used to. It's just part of it. Depends what it is. Like the best way to get horny again is just to turn off porn. And just make yourself more sensitive to the idea of seeing girls around. Turn off porn. Turn off everything on Instagram. Any like ass photos or any girls working out or anything, you click not interested. So that you're more sensitized when you see chicks around. You're more sensitive. If you're jerking off the porn, if you're watching girls that are already like half naked and hot, then you're going to be nuked. Don't take HCG. The only reason that you would take HCG is essentially if you're to you're looking to reproduce or you want to get your balls going. I understand the logic though. I do understand the logic, but with TRT, I understand the logic of it because you do feel better on it. But I do believe that it can have downside where you get desensitized to it, and it can be hard if you actually want to have kids on TRT. Because I think that it's like what the luteinizing hormones or whatever the fuck that is it's called. I think that it desensitizes to HCG, so it doesn't kickstart as much as it before. Whereas if you take it, it hits hard initially, but then it's later on. I think it's desensitized. Yeah, well, performance anxiety can happen. You probably make too much of it. Like sex is one of those. Is it autonomous or whatever it is? Where as soon as you think about it, your dick's not going to work as well. As soon as you think about getting a hard on, it's not going to work as well. As soon as you think about fucking, you're not going to fuck as well. Sex is done and you can't think about it. You just have to do it. It's like you think about breathing or think about swallowing and you sit there and you're like, it just got so hard so suddenly because you're not meant to think about those autonomous processes. And then as soon as you do, I think about breathing, it gets harder. And think about fucking, it's another. Sex is just another thing. Like the more, and again, that's why sexual anxiety and performance compounds. If you have a blow quickly once and then you think about it, it's more likely to happen. And if you ever don't get a hard on once and now you think about it and it's more likely to happen, that's the shit. That's a problem with sex. Like the performance issues compound because as soon as you become aware of it and you're actually observing that sort of a process, now your dick won't work as well as it did before. So you have to watch out with that sort of stuff because as soon as you start to think, oh, is my dick going to work today? And then now it won't, or it's less likely to. I hope I don't not too fast, and then suddenly your sex is off again. That's a good thing though. Like a lot of you, again, would be a lot better with a chick that you actually kind of liked and shit like that because it makes the process easier than I'm just with a chick that's like, I don't know, you don't know her very well. There's no connection, so it's more pressure. because you don't know her that well, and a lot of the time you're like, oh, I want to do well, and all that. You just overthink it. Overthinking sex is horrible. Like sex is not a logical experience, and if it is, then it's just like masturbation. It's a big part of it. Like you have to have a connection. I mean, we can talk about fucking all day because again, it's another thing that I'm the king of. I know all of those sort of topics extremely well. If standing by your beliefs meant losing everything, would you still do it? I mean, I've lost my everything multiple times. I was in Hedera Hashgraph. I invested $1.2 million, and they offered to refund me and give me extra cash if I, essentially signed a contract saying they did nothing wrong and a bunch of shit. And I didn't sign it, and I lost 1.2 million. I stepped down from the fund that cost me like 10 or probably 10, 20 or $30 million because I got doxxed and I didn't want to drag the fund down with me. I went to prison for I got charged for drug trafficking under VLAD, so the bikie laws, and I was looking at over 10 years in jail, and I never snitched on anyone. I sat in mainstream. So again, this idea of, oh, you would lose, I've lost everything a million times. How many people would say that they've sat in prison knowing that they know information that could have got them out of jail at any time? I sat in prison for years at Woodford. Like Woodford is high security. It's one of the worst prisons in Australia. Most people would piss their pants if they went there and probably get raped. So again, I think that it's not a big problem for me. I've always done the thing that I believe is right. Having a vaccination, I don't care about that. I take the L and I move forward. But that was surely an L. Getting vaccinated was an L, but I take the L and I move forward. It's part of it. The Inoha brothers, I don't know them. I've only saw one of them post, and I think that it's good that he's just a real guy. Obviously, I don't know him or anything like that, but I mean, he is seemingly supposed some good stuff, and he's fit and he trains hard. I only know one of them. I don't know both, and I don't know them well. But I mean, it's interesting. Someone who does well and they're living life on their terms, it's hard to be really against them. What do you think about the new Coinbase Amex card that's rolled out? Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's cool. I mean, if you trust it and you get BTC back and cash back, it makes a lot of sense that will be a bigger thing in the future. Because the cash back you get in BTC, if you get like 1 or 2% or something, that can kind of outpace your actual spending in 20 years time or something like that. To hold that BTC could be really valuable. Yes, I believe too. I think the cycle's continued. I think the cycle can run until OpenAI go live. Remember that. Sit down and write your fucking little calendar down and write down OpenAI whenever they go public. I want to sell around then or a month before. And you will look to the king of crypto, me, the absolute king of the macro, and you will say, Stephen, you were correct. The altcoin space for AI is 500 billion to 1 trillion. It's now like, what, 30 billion or something? And then you'll be like, Stephen, I could have invested in that sector and made a 20 or a 50x on pretty much everything. But I didn't do it. And now I'm a doofus. And now I'm trying to buy shit that's like 10x or 100x higher. And now I just got washed out because I thought that OpenAI going live was bullish. It's not. OpenAI will be the top signal for the cycle. That'll be it. And that'll be the top signal for normies running into AI. Because that's it. It's a personal situation, but I've been looking at that for a while. I virtual locked for 2 years. It's going to unlock around the time of OpenAI. Yes, I would say so. But also remember that you can I don't know about virtual because I don't exactly know where it's traded. I'm not an expert, but you can also short your bags if you wanted to, depending on when it is that you get your unlock. But of course, that can be risky. You could get liquidated, and then just before your unlock, it crashes like 50% because that can happen. I respect your honesty. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, of course I am. I am who I am. I'm not saying that I don't make mistakes. I mean, looking back at the vaccination, it was a mistake, but I move forward. That's all that you can do. I don't consider the vaccination the mark of the beast, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe so. I don't think that everyone who got vaccinated is a dumbass and weak and all of that. Some people just have too much responsibility, and that's what they have to do. Same thing if people get the mark of the beast because they have kids and they're like, oh, I need it to buy and trade, or I need it because I'm on UBI and all of these things. I'm not going to hold it against them either. It's their life, right? Like everyone has their shit that they have to do. Do I think leverage is a tool or a curse? Predominantly a curse, mostly. Mostly a curse. Leverage is how, like they say, liquor ladies leverage is pretty much 3 L's that sends people broke. It's the truth of it. Why don't I like bass? I like bass, but the mostly shit. Like like the fucking protocols and that are pretty crap on there. I got the vax, but it was for getting into something that made me save lives in the years after. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Two things can make a right, right? You got to do what you got to do. Part of it. I think mostly we all, well, I'm not saying all because some people didn't get it, but a lot of people got scammed with it. It's life. I've been scammed a few times. It's part of it. You got to do what you got to do. It looks like every aspect of problems is searching for shortcuts. Why not work hard, eat, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I mean, of course, but that's just not really what people are going to do, right? Can you give us something to break through to be able to be free and have more than enough money, not worry and help others break through? I mean, you have to do the internal work, and then you have to find a means essentially to be able to earn that much money that would essentially break you free. There's no me just tell you to go do sales marketing. I don't know what your skills are, but you need to find one and one that you can monetize. But breaking free is not done by having a set amount of money. The breaking free is done internally. Do you know how many guys I know that are rich slaves? They're just a slave to consumerism. I'm rich, but I'm attached to a bunch of goods. I'm just again creating more slaves by telling everyone that their life would be perfect if they had a Ferrari. Can I share why I'm Kazakhstan? A friend of mine's got his birthday. New information came out that the first trumpet will go in 2034. I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't be surprised. I think that the first trumpet will go whenever this halving is. That might be 2034. I think 2030, but we'll see. Because again, what my concept of what I've told you guys is that essentially OpenAI will run a form of UBI, so Universal Basic Income will run under OpenAI, and then Bitcoin itself will have another version of UBI that'll be Satoshi run. So what will happen is the OpenAI UBI will go live, and people won't like it because people will be like, "I don't trust Sam Altman. I don't want him managing this shit." And then they'll run a Bitcoin fork, which essentially Bitcoin will be able to be used as a for the Sats idea. Well, you can work a certain amount of time and you get a certain amount of Sats to sit at home on your ass, but you'll be able to do things for the chain as well. If you have enough BTC, you can be a bank to others in the future. How much BTC do you need to be secure? Some say as little as 0.1. Maybe, I guess it's possible. I would say probably one, but yeah, zero. It depends on long enough time frame. Where would you go before? Where would you stay before World War III? See, I'm not scared of dying. So I don't know this idea of people run around and they're like, where can I hide? I don't care. Like I don't believe in running around hiding from things. Whatever will be, will be. I'm not sitting there. If there's a World War III, I'm not running around and hiding in some cave like some fucking homo. I wouldn't do that. The same thing if someone told me that there was a nuclear bomb about to hit and that I could live 50 years in a fucking bomb shelter with my kid, I would just go and see my kid and take the bomb with her. I'm not living in some fucking bunker, like some fucking turd hiding in the fucking ground. I'm not made for that. It's just part of it. Like that's the truth of it. Like again, it's life is not about how do you live as much as possible. Like my existence is just how long I can get every second out of my life. How do I live as a cockroach just to survive? It's not what everything's about. You have to adjust for the weaker ones to like the people who are more like fearful to essentially be able to provide an environment where they themselves aren't afraid. But what are you afraid of? Like you're afraid of what is already guaranteed. I have a feeling you would be around here in the YouTube and Telegram until OpenAI goes live. Yeah, I would believe that. I think that'll be the end of times for me. I actually wonder what it is to be about with my content around that point. Why do you think Trump is building a big ballroom when the city is struggling? I've told you guys that the ballroom is actually the third temple. They've just decided not to build it in Jerusalem. They're building it in the centralized the US because this was just really a safe place for them to build it. The third temple is very important for revelations to come forward. That's coming. That's why he gave it a date. It may even be the first trumpet, 2027. He could build it in like 3 months or 6 months if he wanted. They've got an unlimited budget. They've got unlimited people. They can get the best people in and build it quickly. Probably 6 months, but probably three if you really wanted to. So why would he take 2 years to build it? Watched Others Day live about Bitcoin, Adam and Eve, Archangel Michael. Can you elaborate more on that? Yeah, I mean, the most thing is this. It's just a mirror, right? Like Bitcoin itself is a mirror of gold. I mean, what gold is yellow, and then if you hold a mirror to like a yellow metal or yellow material, it's actually orange, same as the Bitcoin. The same. It's just the 12 apostles, 21 million Bitcoin. You have Michael, Archangel Michael defeats Lucifer. Then you have Michael Saylor, the evangelist for Bitcoin. There's just too many things, and there's too much. Like a Bitcoin white paper, it says it is in itself scripture. Like when you read it, it's pretty obvious. You hear some of the guys talk about it, and you realize they're actually the disciples themselves of a replacement system. But it's still early. Like it's very early on what it is the Bitcoin is to become. That's the truth of it. But it's obvious. Like all that shit is obvious to me. It's just there's too many coincidences in that. Halloween will be Satoshi Day, and then it'll become Satan's Day because it already is. Satoshi's Sats is Satan, gold, God, Sats, Satan. Like that. That's to me is just that's all just like common sense that you can see it. Satan in himself created like an artificial version of gold. Gold is decentralized by God or the creator or whatever it is. If you don't believe in that, you're just born. But either way, it's still decentralized through the whole world, right? Like one country can have some, another country can have some. Some country that's a complete shithole today will be sitting on gold reserves that are massive. They just haven't mined it and they don't know. So again, it's like it's decentralized by whatever it is that when it had got here. Like it's already separated, divided that way. But then you have the division that's an artificial idea because it's artificial, but certain people again, it's more centralized. Like a lot of people could, hoard Bitcoin when it was still fucking cheap and all of this shit. You couldn't do that really with gold because again, it's found over a long period of time. Bitcoin itself is much more of a just it's a chance that insiders could have got in a lot earlier then. Because I mean, how many people are going to hold gold for like thousands of years when it was cheap? Maybe holding it for 1,000 years, but it's very unlikely. Whereas Bitcoin itself, I mean, you would have just had to hold out for what, like 15 to be buying it very cheap, and that's still within easily one life cycle. So I mean, that's just a part of it. But Bitcoin itself, I mean, you come to see what it is about. I think that I still believe that I'm the only one who believes that sort of a thing, and that others don't for some reason. Like, do people really believe that it's a CIA tool? It's not. You're telling me the CIA built Bitcoin, but they didn't mine it or buy it or essentially get into it until like it was tens of thousands of dollars. American Bitcoin, the mining company, and others, they didn't launch until it was already like tens of thousands of dollars. You think Eric Trump and others didn't know to go public with all of that stuff until it was already fucking that highly priced? Trump didn't get into it till it was 80,000. I think they would have been in it since it was like fucking $100. It's a big part of it. Yeah, people do want to live as long as possible. It's kind of wild. But I get it. I do understand the idea of living as long as possible, but people don't think to live as well as possible, right? And living well is not found, like, again, this artificial crap of, I just need a bunch of money and I need a bunch of consumerism and everything's perfect if I have a Lambo or a Ferrari, or I need this watch or I need these clothes or I need all of this crap. It's done, and then people think like I can do all of this stuff when I have money and when I'm rich I can do things, and they don't see like just going down hiking or shit like that, just going out in nature and things. That's all free. They gave you a perfect system that was free, and then by a fucking good creator who created a system for free, and then they essentially monetized it to push you into an idea that you need to buy a bunch of crap. When I write down what I want to flop between maximalism and minimalism, then you need to you have a broken relationship with that sort of an idea, and you won't get what it is that you want until you fix it. Because it's just you have two contradictory ideas. Part of you likes the idea of not having money, and then another part of you wants money. You just need to have the idea of it's probably not important for you to have it to flex, but you want it to be able to look after others. Because finances, if you have a mom or whatever it is, it's going to extend her life. Not just extend her life at the hospital thing, but gives her a better standard of living. So that's the easiest thing to do with people like that. because some people they don't see that themselves that they want all of this shit, but then they fall into the trap of, oh, I don't need much. But you have to have as much as you can get, and then you also have to have the idea that, no, I just do it for others, and that's going to be a thing that gets you over the line. Because manifestation is best done. There needs an emotional attachment, and when there's not an emotional attachment to it, you're not going to get very much. There's no connection with the lattice. Again, as I've said before, lattice responds to the emotion tied to the request. It's the truth of the matter. What's the motivation to build new companies? I like to help people and get on here and talk and all that crap. Disappearing is, again, I don't like that sort of an idea. Like, just disappearing for what? If I wasn't to be on here, I would probably just be doing coke every single day. Why not? So that's the issue. You can't, when you have everything, it's easy to get just fall into a trap, which is again hedonism. I'm still doing the late night exercise. I realize that my heart is quite disconnected from my mind. How long did it take you to connect them? It can take a fair period of time. Depends how farly disconnected they are. It's like a symptom of depersonalization, that your brain and your heart can even be in a different room as one another. They're not connected, but they're completely distorted. Like that, you're not even in one body. You're like back here. Another one part of you, and the other is essentially not reacting to your brain and heart as separate. So that shit you've got to work to connect them again. It takes time. It's having sex with your girl on MDMA potential really great. Well, yeah, any connection that you have on MDMA, it can be a good thing to get a depth of connection, not just fucking. See, a lot of people, they take all of this crap and then they just have sex, and it doesn't really change much. MDMA is something that if you have, you can have a deep conversation with your girl, and you can actually build a deep connection and that sort of an idea. I'm not saying that you have to do it, but some of you can't have talks to girls anyway unless you take shit. So that can be addictive in itself. Some of you, again, your sex is crap with your girl because you don't have any depth of connection. Connection is done by having good communication. Not these red pill ideas of I just want to control a person, but actually being able to have a connection by a communication, so that you kind of know who she is and where she stands and her ideas on shit. You have to see her as a person, not a sex object. A lot of guys, if they're honest with themselves, their girl is like they see her as a sex object, like a sex object. And they think that's funny for some reason. But again, it's easy to do that because it's hard to get a connection. Because when you're connected, and if it doesn't work out, that hurts. If you're just fucking her and you don't really care, all of that stuff, then it doesn't, you don't care. If it falls over, it doesn't really matter. Oh, I was just fucking her anyway. I don't care. I can just find that connection with someone else. Because it's easy to fuck people, but it's hard to have a depth of connection. But the depth of connection is what makes you hard to replace. Because again, you think that you're fucking her and it doesn't mean anything, but you're a dildo. Like, your dildo is easiest to replace. Like, a guy has a cock, yes, but someone else has a cock too. And guys are desperate for sex. So your girl can replace you much easier than you can replace her from just a sexual aspect. You have no edge. Like, you have no edge under such an idea. You don't. Unless you're adding the dildo with the finances, and then you have the edge. But again, she's attached to your cock and your wallet, not attached to your heart. So that's the hardest thing to replace. If someone's attached to your heart, it's very, like, if a girl loves you, it's very hard to break up with you. It's hard to find that again, especially now, because it's hard you're like, the chick I know will be like, oh, I don't want to go through that again with another guy. Like, I don't want to open up to another guy and talk to him and do all of this shit, as you would have with a chick, where you're like, oh, I don't want to go through all of this shit to find a new girl. Have to, she's got to be good sex, but I also have to have connection. I have to tell her stuff. She's got to know who I am. I don't want to go through that shit again, so I'll just keep the girl that I have. That's ideas that actually make the relationship last, versus we don't know each other, and yeah, she's got nice tits and a tight pussy, but so do many others, and she's 25 and I can get an 18-year-old and I can do, but then it's just lust. Like, you're confusing a relationship with lust. You're confusing, or I have a relationship that I want to have kids with a chick and do this, and I just want some slam pig off Tinder. They're very different. Like, it's easy to find a girl to fuck. because you can just, if someone wanted to, they could just fuck escorts or get sugar babies and shit like that. Like that's much very easy to find. But it's very hard to find a girl that you love to have a relationship with and want to have kids with, who'd be a good mom, good connection with you. You trust her. It's fucking hard to find girls that you can even leave in the house these days. I left the girl in the house and had my watch out, and she might try to steal it and shit. Like there's a lot of scumbags around for sure. There's a lot of fucking scumbag women around, I'll tell you that much. But there's a lot of scumbag dudes around as well. Morality is on a decay. I tell you guys, is saying morality is on a big decay. The girl who's now the average girl that you find today is going to be lower quality than the average one will be in 5 years. And then it's going to be lower than the average one will be in 10 years. And then much lower than the average one will be in 20 years. Because on UBI and these sort of ideas, they'll be incentivized to snitch on you. So if you have a girl and you fuck her, and then she'll have it on the app that she can report you for domestic violence, because I see this in UK a lot because I was getting surgery in UK. There's a lot of these ads that they run. Are you being abused? Are you the victim of domestic? And if a girl's pissed at you because you don't reply to it or something like that, she could easily just like screenshot your profile, send it to fucking this little app, and then put a complaint in on you. He was hard on me, or he like, he did this or he did that, and then you'll get fucked. And then a lot of guys will be demoralized, and they'll be like, I don't want to take the risk of fucking a girl anymore. So I'm just going to, just use VR porn or like, do a fuck with robots in like 10 years. A lot of guys now that I know, I'm not saying all of them, but some guys now I can already see the ideas coming in where they're like, I'd rather just watch porn than fuck girls. Because it's for some guys, either it's risky that they're damaged. They get to a point where they get tired, where they're like, I don't want to meet new chicks anymore. I've seen it before with dudes. It's a true thing. And some girls are like that too now. Girls like fucking vibrators and shit like that. So some girls are less like, I want to meet new people. Well, some people don't. There's more of a niche of people, and not all freaks, that are getting tired of like bothering with that sort of idea. Like how many times when you meet new people and do all of the dances and shit like that, it does get pretty tiring. Like what you jump on and you're trying to dance for new girls and shit like that. That gets tiring. I meet a new person and I have to like, essentially try to impress them or something like that. But eventually it will run out. And I hope you guys understand this idea when you meet women, you only have so many girls in your life that you'll ever love. Some it might be like 2, 3, 1, 4, but eventually that runs out. Like if you have love someone and it doesn't work, love someone it doesn't work, love someone it doesn't work, love someone it doesn't work, then you run the risk of running out of time. Because your heart can only take, it's like you give someone a piece of your heart when you love them. And if it doesn't work out, it kind of can take it with them. So you have to be careful on those ideas. You have to be, essentially, more careful. Any more questions, guys? Didn't have any questions? Or did I lose the chat? Sounds like I lost the chat because I'm on fucking the Wi-Fi. Yeah. I've never been in love. What does it mean? I mean, do you love yourself? That's probably the first step. Some of you don't love yourself. That's the problem. Again, you only see outside what is inside. And some of you have to be opened up to love as well. The idea of loving someone, you have to open up to that idea. Some people have a hardness to them and it's hard to let other people in. Or they just don't trust people. There's no love without trust first. You have to trust because you have to be reciprocative. So you have to be opened up. And if you're not, then if you don't trust, then it's going to be very hard to find that. And if you always think that shit can go wrong, then it's going to be hard. Because again, love exists outside of logic. Like if you're trying to create all of these safe spaces and all of these games and all these rules or just all of this like framework and shit, then it's very hard to love someone. You want to have a frame and essentially you have a world that she can come into, but you can't contain it. Like you're going to bend rules for a girl if you love her. Like I'm just saying the rules that are straight up. It's just we all break. If we love someone, we're all going to break our own rules from time to time, unfortunately. It's just how is it? Yeah, it sounds like you have problems with trust. And that's just it. But then it fundamentally comes back to, do you trust your own judgment? Because you might not. Why do you not trust your judgment around loving women? Have you had a relationship or something in the past or seen someone where they've been burnt and now you yourself don't want to emulate that? Which sucks because some people take on passive damage. You saw someone else get burnt, you didn't even live it, and now you yourself are like, it's affected you in a way that you haven't even opened up to others. It's like watching guys on Fresh and Fit, and then you're like, I see how many shit rags are on that show that I don't want to love anything if that's the case, but they're shit rags, so it's not the same thing. What advice do you have for skeens? It's 48, 38, and had a few young beauties that wants kids and get out of the US, but need to make, I don't know what that means. What's skeins? Best way to get an edge with online dating apps being that it's overly saturated now, even if you're good looking. There's not much of a way to get an edge. I don't like online dating apps because you have to gesture. Like as soon as you message, you got to be the one that moves forward. You got to gesture. You know what I mean? Like essentially, so you match with a chick, you message her, and you know she probably has tons of other messages because that's just the way that the dating apps are set up. Guys are scrolling with their cock in their hand, so they're essentially like, they're running through and just swiping everything. So you know that like she has a lot of options and a lot of matches and a lot of guys are bombarding her. So you jump in and you have to change a little bit. You have to wear a mask. On the dating apps, unfortunately, you have to wear somewhat of a mask. Because I don't care. Like I'm not messaging chicks because I don't give a shit. Like, why am I reaching out and doing all this crap and meant to do all these dances? And then what happens is you get a lot of women on there, they just want to be entertained. If you can entertain me from the beginning to keep my attention and then also entertain me and offer all of these ideas and shit that makes me, I want to have fun and I want you to do all this crap and dance around and do all this bullshit, then it sets a bad frame. Like you can't come back that easy from that. And then essentially you also know the chick's probably going to have a very high body count. And then the idea of you have to catch her on like the first few weeks on there. But what's happened is it's destroyed her psyche because women have realized, oh, this guy, I meet Steven, he fucks, like we fuck, we have a good time, whatever. And then he's not like at my beck and call anymore. I message him and he's like, oh, I'm busy tonight, or I'm this and that. I might just reload the dating app up again because, I have heaps of options. I have guys that want to take me out every single night. Now you have to get around that sort of an idea. So that idea is probably poisoned her forever. That's just it. Like that idea is damaged her in a way that, and then you have guys put travel mode on. And I know guys that get so they get their like a secretary or a personal assistant or something and send the app out to the villages even, and they have it on the like passport mode or they just get it locally done. And then they just bring girls around. And then they'll be like, oh, a girl will be in the village and they'll be like, do you want to fly to Dubai? And then they'll fly some chick from the village there and it destroys her forever. Do I want to get married? Actually, I actually do think about being married from time to time. I don't want to be one in the West, like, where you kind of cuck to the Western laws. But I do understand the logic of that sort of a marriage idea, of course. The older that I get, the more that I come to understand it. But remember that I'm 40. I'm getting fucking like old. That's a part of it. So everyone wants different things. What they'll tell you and what's actually true is you go through life in phases. So obviously in 20s, I was like, I don't even think about that. I don't care. But when you get older, you get more like I don't want to say settling down, but you have to slow down. It gets sad. Like I don't know, I go to the nightclubs and things like that. Even though I think that I'm still fairly young, I'm very fun. But it gets a little bit sad. Like it gets to a point where it is kind of sad. Like 40 or 30, mid 30s or 40 in the club it's a little bit sad. Ilya Tapera wife has been a black rapper now. Yeah, the good thing with like black people in general, the black dudes kill it. I'm not saying that that's because they're very fun. See, black dudes kill it because it's similar to these ghetto ideas, and I've had it as well. When you grow up and you don't have any money, or a lot of, I'm not saying that they're all poor, but a lot of them are, then you learn how to be fun because they don't exist with the finances. Like a lot of them have learned not to how to exist without money, so they know how to exist without have a good mouthpiece, and they're used to being good socially. They're often athletic and shit like that. Like, I don't know. I grew up poor as well, and the idea is you just got the bikes out and like went around, or you just doing shit in like social environment, playing basketball or other shit. You get good with people versus you just sit around on your ass and just playing games all day, fucking around. A lot of the nerds online, you would be very surprised to see a lot of the gurus would lose their girls to black dudes. Like that's true because the guy's fun. A lot of guys like that too. If they don't work and shit like that, they have a lot of free time. So you can't beat that idea. You're busy with a chick, and then the other guy has a good mouthpiece, and he's just free all the time. How you gonna win against that? Especially like some of these immigrants, they don't work, so they have unlimited time to gas the chicks up constantly. Because what happens too, if you're like a lot of guys think that fighters are good with women, and they're not. Most of them are shit with women. I mean, don't you not see the fucking things Conor McGregor gets busted with all the time? And he's fucking worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's with fives often. They're not good with chicks, like most fighters aren't. They often have like super high T and things like that as well. So they're not fun. Like fighting is not fun. Being around like this masculine guy who's this like fucking Terminator, girls don't like that. They don't. Like they again, I stand here off the cliff and tell guys that they don't. I mean, look at me. I know. Look how I fucking look. I know that you have to soften it down. Like acting like you're some fucking hard man and perfecting this hard man stare and being unapproachable and sitting like this and talking about how you can beat everyone up. Women don't like that. Not hot ones. Women are very social. So they don't like the idea of being around a guy who scares people away. They don't. So again, a lot of these ideas, your guy can be a heavyweight champion. He can look all, but if he's not fun, what part of you fighting in the UFC is fun, other than the events for the girls? The guy's going to be on a ridiculous diet. He's not going to be able to drink or do anything other than train and fight and probably be tired. And what hope, like, what fun is that for a chick? Any girl with options, she's going to be gone. That's why, like, again, I don't know one UFC fighter that has a hot chick that I've ever seen, or fighters in general, and I've seen fucking like hundreds of them. They do for a short time because the chick's there because she wants the clout of, oh, I'm at the fights and I can stand next to my guy and I can get attention. But it's not fun. Outside of that, he's in the gym, he's sweating and he's training. That's not fun. Fun is everything. Fun is fun. Like have these 8s or 9s or whatever that you need to be fun, especially if they're younger. Fun is the fucking 90% of the game, not being a Hercules or handsome or all that. That's an auxiliary benefit, but fun is the trumps everything. And fun doesn't mean running around necessarily spending a bunch of money, but you have to be fun. How do you get emotional spikes? Like not this fucking this stoic man and Terminator and all that. That doesn't get any emotional spikes. If you're fucking a chick and maybe you're slapping her around or something in the bedroom, that can be a fun. But a lot of those dudes as well, they don't do that. A lot of them massively simp over chicks because they have such high T from the fighter types that they're like sexually weird. They can't put a chick in line because they need to fuck all the time. Lewis Hamilton doesn't have a woman. Yeah, I mean, but again, he's that Formula One dude, right? But Formula One drivers are like bigger chads than UFC fighters as well. Like it takes a very certain person to be able to do the Formula One. Being in the UFC, I'm not saying that it's easy or anything like that, but being like world level Formula One is I believe much harder than that. You need a certain amount of reflexes and a certain amount of shit. Like if you've ever tried to drive a Formula One car, like we and you would kill ourselves in the car, but then we can hit pads like much easier than we can do that. It's just a part of it. Like you would die on actually just the training versus hitting pads or something like that, and maybe you get beat up, but it's much harder. The Formula One dudes is like, again, to sit there in the car, it's only a certain person who can do that. A certain person who can have the reflexes to be able to do it. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are. You'll never, me, you, and everyone here probably don't have it in us to ever be a Formula One driver. You need great eyes. You need all of this shit that's genetic as well. Whereas all of us, I mean, not all of us, but we could all be pretty good at fighting if we wanted to be. But to be in the Formula One, like that wouldn't happen. Even to just drive their cars around, it would be very hard to do. It's like flying a fighter jet. Like most people can't do that. Not just because they're just, you have to have all the attributes at once. You got to be the right size. You got to have the right eyes. You got to have the right reflexes. You got to have the right, I don't know. Everything has to be done in a very specific way. It's hard meeting chicks if you don't have a social circle, it seems. Yes, that's the big trick. See, having a social circle is fun. The best trick with women, and one that is underutilized, is if you bring a girl into your social circle, she won't leave, because if she leaves you, she'll lose a social circle element. And she knows that if she's to leave you, if you're not surrounded by a bunch of fucking nerds, and some of you are, that none of your friends will ever talk to her again if you're not together. Whereas a lot of your friends would probably try and bang her. So that's a problem. But if you have it all done right, then it's very hard for a girl to actually leave you because she would theoretically lose everything. It's the truth of the matter. Like again, all of that stuff is a big part of it. Yeah, just to get in there, it's the hardest. Yeah, I agree. I would think that it's probably is the hardest. I think another one that's very hard is what is that Red Bull flying, where they fly around in those little fucking planes, and you got to have a bunch of reflexes and shit because it's just genetic. Like you got to be the right size to fit in the plane. You can't be too tall. You can't be too. You got to be like it's all very like refined down. You can't just do it. Like it doesn't matter how good you are. If you're too big, you won't fit in the plane. If you have too much shit, you can't fit in there. Your reflexes have to be perfect, and then if you have a bad day, like you're dead. It's not just I had a bad day and I got KO'd, or I had a bad day and I got beat up, which still sucks, but you're dead. You have a bad day and you crash multi-million-dollar craft, like tens of millions of dollars. Yeah, I've seen the what's it called? Jewel Sullivan, so Sartorial. He has one of those simulator things. He likes all of that shit at his shop. What's it called? What's his shop called? It's in Dubai. The tailor shop. I forget what it's called. Yeah, custom made reality. That's good. He has a very custom made reality. It's an interesting idea. Customizing your reality and customization is moving down your own funnel of individualization. It's true. That's his funnel. Like that's part of the way that he's moved down. Individualization is it's by moving into your custom made reality. He words it different, and also his beliefs are more rigid than mine. But that's still the same process. For him. He's just done it in a different way. But it's still a path of individualization that Jung talks about. Is it possible to make money online besides investing in personal brand? I guess. I mean, but that's the only ways that I'm essentially making money on that idea. He's fucking fast on that as well. Yeah, he's very good. He's good at all of that shit. He's actually a good driver as well. I remember once I tried to keep up with him, and I was in Portofino, I think they are, the Ferraris, and he was in his Porsche, and I couldn't keep up with it even close. Yeah, I saw that. He's got his business, and they do the custom business or whatever the fuck it's called. But he does good with his businesses, and he's got a good edge there also because he spent a lot of time there. I think he's been there like 10 years or some shit. So he was there before it was really Dubai was popping off for foreigners. He would have been one of the first guys there. So he's done very well, but he works very hard. Jewel is very good at doing things and making it seem like he does. People just would look in and be like, he's just out like holidaying and fucking around a lot of the time, but he does work a lot because he posts online a lot of the stuff, but he doesn't post the hours that he puts in working. So it looks like he's on trips and just like fucking around a lot of the time, but he's busy working. He works hard. Do I still drive around in fast cars? Yes, I do. I've got the GT3 and a Lambo, so I still drive fast cars. Just in Dubai, it's like for me having a fast car in Dubai is pointless because there's a lot of cameras there, and not only the cameras, they have the exhaust cameras. So if you're driving around and your car's too loud, it records it as you drive past, and then they can take your car. Do you like the GT3 or the Lambo more? I think the GT3 is more. The Lambo is more fun and it gets way more attention. No one looks at the GT3 and thinks that it's really anything because it just looks more, it's that white chalk, so it just looks more basic. But the GT3 is still fun. But the Lambo is better. The GT3 is fun though. Any more questions, guys? Breaking Free is up, and I'll be posting some shit in there tonight, which is good. And I think there's 50 something guys in there, I think, which is good. And now SRB Crypto, I think, is 135 guys in there now. And then TCM's about 70, which is good. What do you think about Romania? I don't know enough about it to really consider it. I guess I could, but I don't know enough about it. I guess I would consider it. I don't know. I'll see how it goes with Dubai. Are cars and watches worth it if you have the money, or better to invest more wisely? It's not really worth it. Watches are dumb. Like watches are a pointless investment. I've lost money even on this watch. Most of them are pointless. It depends. Like it depends on your intention behind it. Like if we intention behind things is the cheat code. So understand this idea. If you buy, so I say that you buy a watch or whatever it is that you get, what's your intention for having it? If your intention for getting something is to impress another, then you've already failed. Like you failed by definition. I buy a nice car because other people will think that I have a nice car and they'll think I'm cool for some reason. Then you've already failed by definition. If I was honest with myself when I bought watches originally, I bought them a lot for others. I wanted to others to think that I made it. And then obviously I bought watches and then a lot of them have gone down in price. So it's my own lesson. Like again, I would look at the watch and be like, I don't care if it is an investment, so it's okay. But why would you buy like a lot of that shit if not like no one cares about the watches and shit like that? It still tells the time. Most people that care about watches are fucking geeks, like that you don't care about. Most people that care about that stuff are just nerds as well. And again, they're just money nerds. Like you're trying to impress other people who are just vapid, like vacant. Most people are insecure that do that sort of stuff. Oh, I have a Patek, but there's nothing else behind me. And then other people sit there and jerk off that, oh, look at the Rolex you have. I have a Rolex as well. And no one notices, like no one else cares. Because any girls or anything that you would want, do you really want a girl that knows that you have an AP or a Patek or a fucking RM or all of that's pretty big red flags. All that stuff is problematic. So again, I would realize watches are a lot like watches are pointless. Cars are nice because it's nice to sit in a nice car and drive and it's fun. And you get having a nice car is good for business as well because others do look in and they're like, this guy must have some money. You can't buy like a fake Lambo, but like Rolexes and shit like that. A lot of people just buy fakes. Like RMs, people just buy one for one copies. Like in Dubai, probably 90% or 95% of the RMs are fake there. Like everyone has an RM, but it's easy to buy one for one, fake ones over there. So there's a lot of that bullshit. There's a lot of like guys buy like fake Brabus kits and like the G Wagon where they get like there's a lot of insecure people in that country, like a lot. I tell you, it's Bali for men. Bali is for women, but Dubai is, there's a lot of that for men. Foreign guys who go there and then they're trying to figure themselves out. A lot of people, they go there and then they post online and they're only there so that other people think that they've made it. Look, I've made it because I'm made it to this country that's, and then it's a lot of dudes flexing on dudes because there's not a lot of girls there. It's very good for work and it's very good. I only speak of it as a foreigner, but it's very good for work and it's easy for banking and it's good for taxes and it's very transparent for all of those things. But there's a different culture there also because some of the people, I'm talking only about the foreigners, they can be very rude there because they know that you can't do shit. Like they can just be disrespectful. Even they would shit that they wouldn't do in any other country. Guys will leave like Poland and where they wouldn't say a peep to anyone. And then suddenly they get like brass balls because they're running around a place that they can't get smacked in. So there's a lot of that shit that happens. What's it costing you in Kazakhstan? Well, I'm staying in the Ritz, so it's like $1,000 a night. So it's still expensive. But if you were staying in a small place, it would be cheap. It's like Pokemon cards for grown men. Yes, it's true, but Pokemon cards are kind of based because it's something that you want and you don't really show it to others. A lot of the watches aren't as based because, again, there's no real I'm talking about it for me because obviously some people they love watches and all that stuff, and if they're honest with themselves, they really care about them and know all of the shit, and they're interested, and they're like, "Oh, look at this movement and all this crap," and then it's different because that's their hobby. But I don't know anything about that, and at least like the Pokemon cards and shit, there's this real value in you wanted it when you were young and broke, and now it's expensive, but now you have the money to get it. So I understand that sort of idea. I collect some cards. There's some cards that I have. I have the Michael Jordan rookie. I think I have like a 9 out of 10. What is it, like $100,000 card or $50,000 card? And I have some other shit that's good. So I have some stuff that's cool. The same thing. But I think we're upwards of 80 members now breaking free. Oh, yeah, it's a good start. It is a good start. I have to. I'll be posting in it tonight. Let me know what you want. Let me know what you want. I'm not 30 or 50 million. I would probably be after the crash, probably like 13 million or something. 12 million. I've lost a lot on this Bitcoin altcoin drop, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's right. I mean, you can get that stuff when you're a kid. Do you spend much money on growing your personal brand? I could spend a lot more, but I do have clippers and things like that that run it. So it's expanding now much more than I used to because I didn't really spend any money on. I've never spent money on ads or any of that crap. Like hired people to do ads, or I run a lot alone, and I don't really know anything about that field. So that's it. You talk about guys not being able to pair bond with one girl or be monogamous if they have experience past with lots of girls. Am I doomed to be a forever player? And you're never doomed to be something that you yourself can acknowledge. If you can see yourself as other, I'm not saying necessarily as others see you because they might not know you, but if you can see the very negative qualities within yourself, again, you see yourself in a perfect mirror, then it's never over for you. The man who never lies to himself can change. The one who lies to himself will never change. Not meaningful. They'll never have any meaningful changes. But if your ego is tied to essentially being a player, that person will have to die. And that's a hard one to kill because you get benefits from it. And a lot of the content things online that you watch probably reinforce that that's the correct idea. And it's a safer idea. See, it's fun to be a player and get shit on the scorecard. And it's easy to track. Oh, I fucked 10 girls and I fucked this chick that was hot and I did all of these things. But eventually the girls that you fuck get in relationships and get married and you kind of cope and you look back and you're like, oh, I fucked her when this and that. But she's moved on with her life. Like she grew up. You didn't in a lot of the cases, as it has been this case for me as well. It doesn't really go anywhere. And it's easy to look into it. And others like guys are like, I'm a 40-year-old playboy. That's pretty sad. Like there's no cool way around that, as much as others can look in and be like, it's getting very sad. Yeah, but that's that's the narrative that's sold. I mean, Iron Man is one thing. I mean, what's he worth? Hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's that fucking damaged, and he's an Iron Man. I mean, it's one thing. But that stuff is pushed, because but it's also an easier sell because you're not going to get hurt. If you're convinced that you're displaying others and there's no investment, then you're never going to get hurt because your heart's never on the line. You're just like, oh, well, I just fucked and I don't really care. So that's an easy sell for guys because you can never lose. Oh, I didn't get what I wanted and it didn't work out. Sound like someone's banging on the window. But yeah, you're not going to lose shit. So it's an easier push. That's the thing that people are going to move into the easiest because you're not going to get hurt. Everyone's avoiding pain, and being a playboy is in itself one way to also avoid pain because you can't lose, again, like I've said. But you just got to be realistic about what it is that you want. If you don't want anything serious, or you don't want kids, you don't want all of these things, then that's fine. Then you can do whatever the fuck you want. But if what it is that you want is starting to move against who you are or what issues from the past, again, if you're doing the same behavior that you're doing from the past, you're going to get the same results. And if the results are okay and they're the things that you want, then that's fine. But if you want different results, you're going to have to become a different person, which is possible. I mean, it's done all of the time. The best results are going to be done, though, when you're ready for them. See, what happens is, again, you can be ready to change, and then you're not going to change until essentially your whole world gets knocked over. And then you might try to rebuild it, and you might try to rebuild it multiple times, but eventually it'll get knocked over faster and faster, and you won't be able to keep that track of that shit anymore. Like I said before, again, the wrecking ball will come along. Imagine that you've built a tower. That tower was your identity. The wrecking ball comes along, it knocks it over. You're not as you thought you were, but then you can try to rebuild yourself again, exactly as it was. And then the wrecking ball comes again, smashes it over. And this time it might run over the old building. And then you think, oh, I'm looking down at the ruins, but do I want to rebuild it? Do I want to fall back into old habits because they're comfortable, they're familiar? They might be pretty good. I might be getting a good return from that. And then eventually, though, it gets to a point where it gets knocked over faster and faster, and you can't hide away. When either it's in the high, not in the low, stuck in the middle, now what to buy? I mean, I would just be, if I'm buying markets and it's not some poem, I'd just be buying shit that's altcoins that are depressed. Anyone can buy like Sui at $1.80 and then sell it like $4 or $5 before Q2. Like what Q2? So what are we looking at? Like May, June. So you can make a 3x in like what, probably 6 to 8 months. And people will be like, but only a 3x. I just want to make $1 million. But it's a pretty low risk. 3x. Put 100K and take 300 out. 400. But again, this idea of like, I just need to make amazing returns is not. You need to make like this in crypto before the cycle runs out. You should make like a 5 or a 10x. So if you have 10K, you should turn it into 50 or 100. And then you should make another 5 or a 10x from AI. Or maybe you can make a 20 or a 30x from AI. Because you time it correctly, and then you can make $1 million or $2 million off 10K. It's not about losing it. Because if you make 10, get your 10, and then you're trying to get like, 100x in 1 year, you're going to nuke it. Then you're going to fuck it up in some way. And probably get rug pulled before we even have a bull market. How do we make businesses in different countries? It depends on what business that you have. If it's something online, it's easier. If you want to become a millionaire, help some become a billionaire. How do we find the chance to become that? Well, I would first get realistic. Like this idea of shit, just reading off like fucking fortune cookie ideas. Like, oh, this sounds funny and cool. But I mean, who the fuck's going to deal with you that's a billionaire if you're not rich? I would not read anything of like, that's something that you would just read on a greeting card. Sounds cool, but it's not anything that's actionable. You got to, again, you can teach people to make money and things like that. And the best idea is that you can teach people to make money at something, but you yourself are going to have money because you're going to be the first proof of concept. But if you can teach a guy to make $1,000, then you can teach a guy also to make 10 or 100K. But this idea, I'm going to guide millionaires. I mean, why would they listen to you? People can listen to me about investing because I'm rich and I've been in the game for 10 years and been documented. That's, again, to be trusted is not that easy. Any more questions? In what country that you were in did you experience the best medical care? I don't know exactly which one. I've been to a lot of the medical care facilities, but I don't know which one. Australia is actually not bad, but I was in private hospital. Australia is actually decent. So I was at the Keith Payne unit in Greenslopes private hospital. It was pretty good. Anything else? What was the biggest thing that it cashed out in? I don't know what the biggest thing of cashed out in what. Mine would be crypto. Just time. Like, again, you need time. You again, like investing is, we overestimate what can happen in, a fucking week. And then we underestimate what can happen in multi-years. Do you agree with the idea that most businesses are obsolete compared to just hoarding? Somewhat. I don't know who that person is, but somewhat. But understand, like a lot of people, they just speak. Like, I don't know who this person is, but again, a lot of people just talk. A business is obsolete compared to holding Bitcoin. Well, how are you going to be able to buy Bitcoin if you don't have a cash flow? Like, these ideas are dumb, like this chicken and the egg scenario. I'm saying something that I read in a greeting card, but it does, and then you fundamentally check and it doesn't make sense. People just talk though. Like, I don't know who this person is, but I would assume he hasn't been in Bitcoin as long as me. But people just speak. Like, most people just talk. They haven't really done anything. And then if you're to investigate them, again, they haven't done anything. It's easy to get online and speak. Like, it really is. It's easy to just yap online, especially for people that are like, influencers or whatever the fuck it is that they're doing. They just talk. My business is obsolete compared to hoarding Bitcoin. Well, how are you going to buy this Bitcoin? It's not fucking free. Advice on building a personal brand as a guy in your early 20s. When you're this young, people usually don't take you seriously. Yeah, it's fine. But again, it's you're building a brand that eventually you'll look to later and you'll be like, see, I started where you are. That's something that people like. I can relate to my audience because I too started young and didn't have much of an audience. And now I essentially built it into this. And you can look in and be like, now see, I've been in the exact positions that you've been in. I see these live streamers making 15 or 100 M just on the computer. Do you think that's the move? I don't think that there's too many people making that sort of money. unless they're advertising like gambling platforms or other crap. And even then, they still have to have an audience first. I don't know if it's selling your soul to sit there and run fucking gambling ads or whatever. It's their thing to do. But the Aiden Ross ideas and things like that involve, yeah, I mean, that's different. But it's not that easy to be a streamer. Most of them don't make any money. It's like OnlyFans. Most girls on OnlyFans don't make any money, or they make very small. Like a few $100 a month or 500 a month or something to sell their ass. It's pretty expensive. But then others, like some of them, make all the money. Streaming is like that. Most people don't make much, and then you have a few that make tons of money. Yeah, I mean, yeah, gambling. If they have an audience and they push them to gamble, yeah, they get a rake back. So that's a big part of it. But now they also get it from. So you have guys just advertising leverage exchanges like Binance, or telling guys bombastic calls that they should short to 10K, or because the gambling is essentially been changed to trading. Trading sounds cooler. Like saying I'm a trader sounds cooler than I'm a gambler, but they're the same. And it's easier to, maybe it's hard for your country to be on stake or be on all of these platforms, but it might be easier to get on Binance. Yeah, it's bad for kids to be fed gambling advertisements. I agree. I think the worst part is gambling is bad, but I think the worst thing that people have promoted is probably porn. Gambling is bad, but if you're young, you still need to have money to gamble. Like, but being promoted to porn is probably worse because you don't need any money to sit around and jerk off. And some kids are probably sent it when they're ultra young. And watching porn grooms you to be a gambler, and it grooms you also to be into drugs and things like that. Because you get, it's the same dopamine thrill. Like you're going to need more and more of a thrill over time. So porn kind of desensitizes you in a way to move into that sort of shit. It's a big part of it. What do you think of Australia making YouTube 18, 16 and over? Yeah, it's just a means to essentially being able to create more censorship. They don't care about the 16 and over. That doesn't matter. It's essentially that you need an ID to be online. And then if you're a cancelled person, you won't be able to use YouTube. Like I might not be able to keep an account forever, or I certainly probably won't be able to keep one for a while because I'll have to use my ID. Eventually I'll have to have a digital ID. And if they're to say I'm a cancelled person, I'm face banned on Tinder. So I can only imagine what's going to happen on YouTube. Then I just won't be able to have an account anymore. So that's just part of it. But you talk about price action like a trader. Do you get rich mainly by investing? Yes, I only get rich trading on investing. I don't. But then again, remember that I run my group SRB Crypto. So I actually make money running the group as well. So I get rich from both sides. The best thing is there's not the guy you're going to need both. Like you're an investor and then you can also sell information. It's a great product. Because it doesn't matter. Like this idea of, I recommend these investments and things like that. It doesn't change the outcome enough to really pump the bags. But then if I'm right, I'm right twice because I'm also invested in it. And then if others invest in it and do well, they're going to buy more people will come in the group. Of course, it goes the other way, but I'm pretty confident in my investing ideas. How you avoid the digital ID thing? I don't believe that I can because eventually I'm going to need to have an ID to be on YouTube. I'll probably need an ID to do a bunch of shit. I think that eventually, we'll have a period where we can kind of hide from it maybe for 6 to 12 months after, you're living in certain countries. But if you want to go to the Euro, if you want to go to Oz, eventually America, if you want to go to any of those countries, you'll need it. Probably Dubai's already kind of digital. Like, let's be frank. A lot of the cards and things are digital already. So, I mean, they run around and say don't have digital IDs, but a lot of that stuff is already around. We just can't change it. It's a part of it. Like hiding from things, you can't. It's going to be everywhere. What you say online is going to haunt you for the rest of your life, specifically if you've said a lot of stuff about Israel. Can you make a video again like the old one about investment specifically and then one about power dynamics? I've already done the best power dynamics one that ever existed. If not, dating apps, where'd you find it across women in your current lifestyle? The best women is, you can meet them in person, but probably Instagram, unfortunately. It's part of it. Did you have a mentor that helped you get where you are? I've had a few people that have guided me in some things, but not really. I wouldn't say that I really have a mentor. My mentors were ones that I'd never met, which is amazing because don't never meet your hero. Like that's a real thing. Some of you guys have heroes that if you're to meet them, you would be so disappointed that it's not even a thing. If you were to meet me, I don't know if you would be disappointed, but you probably would be because I don't like to hang out with people. I like to be on my own a lot of the time. So I mean, again, don't meet your heroes. So again, these mentor ideas. Sometimes it's good to have a mentor from afar because then if you meet them, but we all have mentors in certain things. Like you won't have a mentor where you're like, I want to emulate everything about them. Because if you know them, you'll start to see that they also have flaws and things that you don't want to replicate. So again, though, you can look to a guy and be like, oh, I wouldn't mind learning. He's like very good with chicks. How do I learn this part of him? Or this guy's really good with money. How do I learn this part? Or this guy's really good with the gym. How do I learn this part? Or this guy's like really disciplined with eating or boxing or other shit. How do I learn that? This guy has a good network. How do I learn that? This guy's a really good dad. Like he's good with his kids. How do I learn that? But very rarely will you learn from one who's everything unless you yourself don't know them. And then when you know them and spend more time with them, you'll be like, because most people, if they're successful, also are fucked up. Like in some way, there's something that has pushed them to become a success. And often if you get to know them long enough, it's some seed that was a problem. And some people have hidden from it because they've gotten really good with fucking 100 girls. Some have hidden from it that they made millions of dollars. But if they are to face it in themselves, often it's a thing that they're running from. So you're very rarely going to meet someone who's incorporated all of it. Do you think mentors are key? Someone that knows the way and helps guide when you get stuck? They definitely help. It's true. They definitely help you. Yes, it's true. Yeah. They're not as great as you visualize them in your mind. It's true. They're not as great as you visualize them in your mind, but it's kind of humbling and makes you see that they're not that different to you. It's true. You should only have the version of your future self that's the hero as well. Most people, again, when they're also very strong or in a very strong role, it's outside of that, there's nothing to them, usually. Like guys who are military and they're great in the military doesn't mean that really they're going to be able to put the rest of the stuff together, specifically if they're very highly skilled in one area, because it takes like all of their energy. Do you know how many guys that are SEALs or guys that are, special forces and things like that, and then they're not good with girls at all because they're just amazing soldiers, which is enough, but that's the thing that they've maxed out at. Like, because they actually are maxed out. Like to be in the special forces or something, it takes a lot of it takes everything out of you. Your bucket has to be 100% in that field. So all of the attributes of soldiering, they're going to be extremely good at. Discipline, all of those things they're going to be at least good at in that capacity. They might not be disciplined in other areas of their life, but soldiering is going to be amazing. But that takes everything away. Fighting is another. They're 90% in fighting, so their other shit is just completely suffered. What advice would you give someone who lost a lot of money in gambling? Is it accept that it's gone and then it's never coming back? It's a complete sunken cost. And the more time that you're spending to try to get it back, that's more loss. It's true. Like you've dug yourself in the grave and then you're thinking, how do I just dig my way out? I just got to dig in a little bit more to get out. And you're just digging yourself deeper into the ground. It's time to start climbing out, and time climbing out is to just give up on the money that's lost, unfortunately. Are us normal people doomed because it seems like every avenue is a dead end? You're doomed with that mentality, but also you have a very much a time decay. Yes, you have 5 years. But your biggest enemy is like asking simple questions. Questions that like you don't do any research. You're not a deep thinker. Like I can already tell that about you. And you need to be. Because no, you're like a gloss person, like you're surfacing, you're just reading all of the surfaces. It'd be hard for you to focus. Like you're not focused on one thing. You're focused on like 100. You would be someone who starts one thing and just wants to move into the next immediately. You're one who's trying to find out which is the optimized business that I can just jump in and do well immediately. And that doesn't exist. Like no business exists in that way or no anything because it's the barrier of entry. It keeps the people away who are glossy in that field. Like they jump in, they get pushed out because they're not committed. The barrier of entry exists, a moat exists. Time is in itself a moat around an industry. So that the tire kickers that jump in, they don't have any success and then they move on. That's a moat. Any more questions? You got to be a deep doer. Doesn't mean that the life's going to be so easy because it's not. I never said that it's easy or that it's fair because it's not. But again, you got to move through and just keep pushing. How to deal with a breakup was my first love, 8 years together, and now I'm. Well, I mean, it's over. Accept that. No, the broken hand guy. Fuck me. Was that the one that was fighting all of the time? Should be fighting. That's the story. Fighting is in itself like you would realize that the fights that you're in, you're projecting yourself on others, and then you're trying to beat them up because you're not happy with yourself. It's the truth of the matter, and you got to realize all of that. You got to look internally with fighting and all of that crap. I feel disrespected, therefore I'm going to fight people and all of this crap. You got to get through all of that. You're projecting it as yourself on others. How to deal with breakup was my first love, 8 years together. But again, if you use that resolve to fighting and doing all of that bullshit into something that was a good cause, you would be unstoppable. That's the problem. Like you're going to have a lot of regrets when you get older because you're wasting your potential completely on bullshit like fighting and crap. Doesn't matter if you win 100 fights, it's pointless. If you still look in the mirror and you're not happy, it doesn't matter if you win 10,000 fights because it's always going to be the same problem. And you're going to destroy everything around you and you're going to have no friends because people don't want to be around people that fight. Even if some of the time you're in the right, even if you're in the right all the time, people don't like to be around fighting. Unfortunately, it's just a part of it. And then as you get older, the consequences are bigger and bigger for fighting. Someone pushes you and you knock them out and then they die, you're fucked. It doesn't matter if, I was in the right and it was self-defense, and you're going to get cucked, especially if you have a history for that. And that will be your final punishment because, again, you're not learning the rules of life. Basilisk is presenting a bunch of bullshit in front of you and you're getting distracted every time. You can't walk away. You think that to walk away means that the guy beat you for some reason, but you don't realize that you're actually fighting yourself every time. All right, well, good. At least you're getting paid to fight. Then use that money essentially to upskill so that you don't have to fight forever. That's a good thing. If you're fighting for, actually for money and not fighting pointlessly, well, that's a different thing. But you got to know, like you already know that fighting's not forever. I mean, you've already broke your hand and all of this shit, so you know that eventually your body's going to give out. But so you need to take the money that you're earning and not waste it. Otherwise, you're just going to take the money also and just piss it away, and then you're going to be stuck fighting because your body only has a finite amount of time. Doesn't matter how good you are. Eventually, your body's going to break down. Because especially bare knuckle, I mean, if your hand's already fucked, it's only a matter of time. Yeah, I mean, for guidance for the next thing is to take that I would assume that you have to be quite obsessed to be fighting and doing a bunch of that shit because it's not fun to fight and be injured and then sit out and do all of that crap. So you need to do the inner reflection now and, see what's the next step for you. What is the next part of life? Like, what do you want? Is finances a big thing? Social a big thing? Relationship a big thing? All of that stuff. Do I have under control this like fighter vibe that I give out? Do I scare people that are around me because I'm a fighter? Because if you scare people that are around you, it's going to be hard to be around people because people are going to be afraid of you, especially business guys. You sit at a dinner table, and if you intimidate someone, that's going to be a difficult thing. Will there be an asset to give return similar to Bitcoin? I don't believe so. I mean, certainly AI stocks will do well. How is Trump so out of touch with the base? It's so easy to fix a country. It's not easy to fix a country because it's a parasite on his back. America is not run by America. America is not run by Trump. Like, do you really think that it matters what Trump himself has to say for America? He doesn't have a decision. He can't make those decisions. Not the biggest ones. The president is just the face. What do you think about Tate fighting someone called Chase? I don't know. I think that it's a big thing that he still gets in the ring and fights, and he could very well get injured, right? Like, what happens if they fight and he gets like an eye poke and he loses or something like that, and then people would laugh at him. So I think that it still takes balls to get in there and fight. I don't know the guy that he's fighting or anything like that, but I would assume that Tate is still good. Do I think that he's the best in the world? I mean, he's getting older and it doesn't seem that he fights all the time. And doesn't he have his eyes a bit fucked or something? So, I mean, you got to be realistic about what it is. A guy who's worth so much money that the fight is irrelevant is still going in there and fighting. I don't think that they're going to, they're going to be against someone who's the hardest person in the world. It doesn't make sense. He has too much to lose. I would just treat it kind of like it's an exhibition. I don't doubt that Tate will win. And he also wouldn't throw the fight because he has unlimited money. Like he doesn't need to throw a fight to it because he would lose more in losing than he would make even if he made $100 million. Because his fan base thinks that he's invincible. That's the narrative. Like that's the narrative that's pushed down. But I think it's good like showmanship, right? Like the best guys who they sell the fight before the fight. That's the part of it. It's like I don't know. They do that in WWE. Before a fight or something happens, they'll talk about their opponent as though it's the biggest thing in the world, and then that's what smart people do. Like even if they win, you're best to say that your opponent was good. Like you're not a good thing to win and then be like, yeah, my opponent wasn't as good as me, or like he was pretty shit compared to me. I don't think that the guy would be shit and that I would be beating him up or anything like that. But he's probably shit compared to Tate, yeah, because Tate is in himself very good. But he also has too much to lose to be like, he's not. I don't think that it would make sense for him to fight like someone like Darren Till. That wouldn't make sense. Like it just wouldn't make financial sense if he was to lose. I'm not saying that he would or he wouldn't, but I do think that that would be a very close fight. In my view, that's a fight that would be a very close fight. So that would take a lot of balls. Like that would take a lot of risk, you know. But it's easy for me to say because I'm not the one that would be fighting Darren Till, right? Obviously, I would lose. So that's the thing that's the thing. But it still proves to himself, right? Like you're a rich dude. He goes through a fighting camp. He still has to train for it. He's getting older. He's he has to do all of that crap. It'd be easy for him to just fuck around every single day and just be a hedonist. It'd be easy, right? So it's good for other people to see it and emulate and follow through and all that crap. But that's the archetype. Like that's the thing. When you have a certain archetype that you move down and his followers believe that he's invincible, then you can't fight people. Like you can't just go and fight like Pereira or something like that. Like you can't do that because if he loses, then the fan base will be like, "Oh, I didn't think that he could ever lose." I mean, Pereira is knocking most people out. He's a fucking animal, and he's very like current. Like he fights all the time. So that's the thing. But there's certain archetypes and there's certain things that you go down and you're completely rigid. You can't get away from. Like certain ideas and things that you have, you can't change. That's the idea of rigidity. Like it's both a blessing and a curse. If people think that you're a messiah, they can never see a messiah stumble, so you can't take the chance of stumbling. That's the nature of it. Like the Kim Jong-un angle, he can't stumble. Like that's the story. Rigidity is good, but rigidity can stunt personal growth a lot. Are you betting on the Tate fight? I'm not betting on the fight, but I mean, I don't doubt. I have zero doubt that he's going to win, unless there's something interesting happens and he like gets poked in the eye or something. But I believe that he's going to win. I mean, he's also not going to. He wouldn't throw the fight. He's already unlimited. He has unlimited funds. Yeah, but he has I think he has a bad eye though, right? So if he got like even a jab in that eye, it would be a risk. So he takes a risk to fight. I believe so. He said it before that his eye's a bit off. But I would hope that he doesn't get hurt or anything like that. But I assume that he won't. He's gonna, I would assume, win the fight. But he's very good. I know people that have sparred him and things like that. And they say that he's very good. He's also big. He's a big dude. He trains really hard, and he fights like very long time. And he won't pull out. Like he doesn't care. I would believe that he would just still fight even if he's injured. Yeah, I think also this can be just like a warm-up fight for him. And then he can fight KSI or Logan Paul or something like that, which is what I would assume this will be. This is a warm-up fight and people are looking too far into it. It's like anything. Everyone needs a warm-up fight, right? Like they're warming up and they've got like the lights on him again. I'm sure he's done all of this shit a million times. But that's the idea. You have a fight and then you essentially later on after that can call out who he really wants to fight, and it probably will be KSI. Like that's the idea. I've taken your like platform, I've taken your show. you can come back and we'll fight each other for misfits. And then people will be like, holy shit, this is such a great action and a plan. And then that'll be like we're fighting for who owns the company or something like that. That's a great idea. Like that's genius. And that's what I would assume that that's probably the idea. Because it's interesting now. In KSI, people will say that he's a shit boxer or anything like that. He would beat me. He's not a shit boxer. He's a very athletic dude. They look crap because you watch them and you're like they don't look like they're very good. But that sort of style of like rushing you and shit like that, that's very hard to stop. Like he rushes in. They're very athletic. Another one that's athletic is that guy. Who's that black dude that the streamer? And people underestimate him and he was like running faster than that fast running black dude. These people look like nothing. But yeah, I show speed. Like if they wanted to train him up for boxing, he could be good as well. He's very athletic. A lot of those people, like they look like nothing. Like KSI again, he looks like nothing, but he's like for anyone at the normal gym, he'll just flatten. Like again, another one like this Logan Paul, he looks normal too, but he would fuck up most people, especially in MMA, and that he's very strong. Jake Paul looks like nothing, but you would take him to most boxing gyms and he would fuck up most of the people as well. They just look like they're shit, but they're not. Like they're still pretty good. And boxing in itself, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not hard to be a okay boxer, especially for them because they have the best training and shit like that. Like 2 or 3 years of training, and they're going to get very good at boxing. I'm not saying MMA because MMA is much harder, but 2 or 3 years of boxing with the best coaching, good diet, good discipline, they stick to it. They're going to be very good at boxing. They're good for that sort of shit. Yeah, I mean, but like Logan Paul and Jake Paul and shit like that, like he's like Logan Paul as well. He's obviously like very athletic. Even when you see him do the WWE crap, you can't just do that. Like you can't just, oh, I'm this guy and now I'm going to be doing that. He makes it look easy, like he's an athlete. Like it's easy for him to pick that sort of crap up. You can't say like, I mean, you just see the dude. It's easy for him to just. He's like a very athletic dude. Like you can't just do that. Like most people can't just get off the streaming and then just go and do that sort of shit. They never like they'll do 10 years of training to be as good as he was. He's like a kind of a natural. Like, yeah, he's gifted. That's the truth. Like he's gifted. That I show speed as well as he's gifted. Like they're athletically gifted. If they were to become like really try really hard in those sectors, they would be really good. They just have that attribute to be good in that sort of crap. And they have genetic advantages. I think that speed dude's like kind of light, like a light dude for his size, and then Logan Paul or whatever's like a giant, right? So they have that is genetic attributes and shit. So then people would think like that they could just run around and beat up like Logan Paul or something, and they couldn't. Like Logan Paul would fuck up most people, including me, in a street fight. He's also massive, so that's the idea. He's not like just a big bodybuilder. He's big, but he's still like very athletic. So it's hard to stop people that are athletic like that. Favorite country you visited? I don't know. It depends what it is that's for. I like Switzerland for just being peaceful and there's like, beautiful mountains and sights and it's just chill. There's no fucking crap like running around London. It's pretty chill there. It's just a peaceful place. I quite liked it though. Kazakhstan's nice. It's very peaceful. It's chill. Poland was good before all of the fucking mostly foreigners like me came there and kind of flooded the place with a bunch of attention, and then the girl atmosphere is kind of dried up. See, the issue with foreigners coming into the country is they price the price of women up a lot, but also they gas women up a lot. So the fives and sixes now get some attitude because they got more like attention. And there's a lot of thirsty money there, guys that just gas up fat chicks. Like you come from the States and you're used to being around like walruses. So then if it goes thinner, it's a big thing. The Poland house, they're doing another content house though. We gave it away. We didn't have to, but we got rid of it. We were doing parties there and they were probably getting a little bit too rowdy, to be fair. You can't just have parties and a bunch of shit in the foreign country like that also because you get a lot of haters. Poland, there's a lot of gossiping. Like there's a lot of guys there that just gossip about each other behind their back and act like little fucking like fags. just fucking dobbing on each other all the time. The guys will do shit for women and they just shit talk each other behind each other's back a lot. That's a part of it. That's in the culture, a lot of backstabbing type of shit. Like you're the man to your face, and then behind your back they talk shit about you. That happens a lot. You have to be careful of that. There's a lot of like back patting, and then people trying to stab each other in the back a lot. I never understood that. Like I never understood guys talking bad about each other to try and impress girls. I never got that because I know that also like if you talk bad about a guy or you talk bad about a guy to a girl, she realizes that eventually if she's to be annoyed at you, she'll fuck that guy. Like you teach the people how to hurt you. This would hurt me. Then don't talk to this guy. He's bad. He's this, is that. And then as soon as there's a problem, who do you think that the girl wants to speak to? The guy that you told her is shit because now she's going to hurt you in that regard. That's the issue. Any more questions, lads? And then I'll pack it up. Oh, I gotta film a video for crypto. Yes, people will move into the meta world. Well, there'll be drugs, and also what we realize with crypto mine, there's a process that I don't want to ruin the surprise for you guys, but as they map the brain better, there's a process that can essentially provide like fun. Like, there's a process that essentially with these EEG, but eventually Neuralink, and you'll be able to rent, a capacity to be happy, if that makes sense. Like you'll be able to essentially, they'll have all of the chemicals and the structure organized, and that they can provide you with, like you won't even have to do anything, and they can just have your fun levels turned up. Like as the brain itself is being mapped, that's a process that they're starting to learn now. And then the opposite will be true. If you haven't done your UBI credits for the day and things like that with Neuralink, they'll be able to make you sad. It's true. Like your happiness will be on a decay. That's another thing that they'll be able to do is the brain itself gets mapped further. You'll have to watch all of the fucking goy videos essentially to be able to be like, a level of happiness for the day. Otherwise, they'll turn yours down. And you won't realize that your happiness will be on a decay when you have a Neuralink BCI, and they'll be able to change your mood like that. And then you'll be like, I don't know why, but like, I'm just a little bit happier, like less happy. I'm like suicidal for some reason. And you won't know why. It's because they don't want you here anymore. And they'll be able to turn all of that shit down. Your like chemicals and your brain chemicals and your emotions and things, they'll be able to subliminally program you as well. Because we're already learning, or not there yet with crypto mine, but we're starting to get some data through that is interesting. Advice for someone running a small crypto project on a dying chain Cardano, a new chain base. It's not so easy. It depends how, like, what the project kind of is. If there's any potential on there, is there any other narratives? I would be moving over to base before the fork or something like that. But do you have any traction? Yes, the problem is the community prioritized. That's a problem. The hardest thing is that you have a lot of angry bag holders, and the community itself is problematic, right? It's because it's gone toxic. And even if you're to fork it, or even if you're to provide another coin, or you're like, we'll kind of monkey branch to another project and holders will get access to that, they're still going to damage the reputation of the project. You'd be best to let that project die and move into another, even though you're going to have a lot of angry people. There's nothing else you can do. Like that's just the nature of it. Some businesses fail, unfortunately. I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I don't know the project. I don't know what happened, but sometimes you just have to let it go. It's over. Versus I'm just going to now continue to try to make it better, and then the same thing is just going to kill every single project that you bring in. You have a toxic community that's probably over. You deliver a product. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know what it is or any of that shit, but that's life. Hex is another one that's a toxic protocol now. It's like a toxic project. They're sitting there waiting for Richard Hart to bail them out for some reason. He's already got their money. Why would he use his money now to buy the token? Like, it's pointless. He knows the token is gone to zero. It has no utility. And my project continues to be built. It's costing me, I don't know, 20 or 30K a week, dollars, Soul Stake. and we'll see how that goes. But that's the thing to being built now. And yeah, that'll be interesting. And also, it's not, investing isn't open yet, and I don't even know if it will be open. But we're also looking for creators on that. So if creators or anything want to go in there, it's soulstake.tv. Something to look into. I'll put it in the chat. So if anyone wants to see it, Soulstake. We're more looking for creators than investors because I mean, if you're to try to invest, you probably I don't know if you'll get allocation. I doubt it because we're not. I'm funding it myself currently. I'm funding it myself, so I've probably paid hundreds of thousands of dollars already, and then I've paid for licensing and other licensing. So essentially, what SoulStake is, it's going to be a platform that's a creator platform, but it'll probably have iGaming. It'll probably have not safe for work. I'm not going to sugarcoat it to you, because essentially, what the idea is that the creators can do anything. So that you're a creator on the platform, and if you want to do crypto content, if you want to do whatever the fuck you want to do on there, is fine. But you can also do 18 plus content if you want, because it's a decentralized platform. You can do everything except for something that's completely illegal, and then you realize there is a level of centralization. If you fucking have like torture videos of animals on there or something, then you have to be banned off the platform. But the rest of it's possible. So if a dudes want to be with a chick and the chick wants to do strip poker on that, they can do it with iGaming if they want. Versus if they want to do streaming live, they can do it for tips, all of that crap. It's not it's just essentially it's an open source. Well, not entirely, but it's more of a decentralized it's like combining Kick, Stake, and then also probably YouTube or Rumble on there and just bringing it into one platform. And it just runs with one token. Richard Hart is very clever. Like I'm not going to stand here and say he's an idiot because he's very far from it. Like Richard Hart is very intelligent. Richard Hart is very smart. He's very clever. But again, it's Richard Schuler, right? That's his name. It's not Richard Hart. That's an alias. He's one of them. He's one of them people. It's the chosen ones. And that's why he's run a system that's essentially, token avoid is what it is. But he's not run like, again, if you're an early investor in Hex or Pulse, mostly Hex, you made good money. So, and he did deliver what he said he would deliver. So he's not really a scammer. Like, how are you going to be a scammer if you said I would deliver this and I delivered it? If people want to give him a sacrifice of a bunch of fucking money that maybe you paid too much, maybe you like that it was kind of overpriced, you sacrificed $1 billion for a centralized chain. But that's life. I fucking sacrificed as well for Pulse X. I think I made, maybe I made like 50% of my money or something on what it is that I put in. But that's the nature of it. Like he's not a scammer. It's impossible for me to say that he's a scammer because he did deliver what he said he delivered. Richard Hart is an expert on game theory. Like Richard Hart is one of the, I believe, one of the best when it comes to game theory. He understands people very well. He knows what lies in the heart of men. It's true. He's very, I would assume he's been burnt a lot in his life because he just assumes that people are going to burn him and then he also burns them first. He would be a very hard person to fuck over because he always assumes that people are going to screw him over. Chosen one, meaning it, well, Schuler, right? I believe that if he's not Jewish, he's pretty close to it, right? That's his name. I would believe that he very likely is, or he's certainly in the family. What's your relationship with your sister? I have two. I still think that they're both in Australia. I don't really talk to them a lot, but I know that if they would need anything, that they could speak to me. But yeah, they're doing well. One of them is married. One of them is, I think, engaged to be married. So they're happy. They've got their own guys, right? That's the life of the matter. Like when they have their own men, there's no real, I mean, you can still talk to them and things like that, but they have their own life, right? It doesn't matter what I think. It matters what their relationship with their husband and shit thinks. It doesn't matter about me. Do you think that Poland is getting at a level of being overhyped? Yes. Poland is overhyped. There's no doubt about it now. Poland, I believe that I can't say entirely me, but I put that on the map for foreigners. I just have to say that it's the truth. It's true. Before me, I mean, most people didn't know too much about the sport. It's the truth of the matter. You will never know the glory days of being there, like years ago. Don't fuck with them. I don't know which them you were talking about. I mean, I'm already toast if we're talking about them people, probably because I've already been one of the only ones online that's identified that they themselves are controlling large amounts of the everything, the power, the media, the other shit. That's a big part of it. Do you guys know that they're using this Charlie Kirk now as a digital martyr? Remember, I told you guys this idea. He's going to be one of the first digital martyrs that they use. They're going to use him to promote the next elections. They're going to use him in the years to come. So essentially, you die, and then they can resculpt your image and resculpt the story around you because you become perfect in that moment because you're dead. And now they can sculpt the background and everything around you. You'll live to see a moment where one of these people that are the top guys, I don't know if it's Tucker or Candace, one of them will be wiped out. They'll be pushed off the board, and then you'll see them as they'll be like a digital news anchor. So they'll be gone. They'll be assassinated at some point, not by me, but by someone will. And that will be the rise of the digital martyr. That will be a big thing. And then you'll see them running platforms, and they'll be gone, but it'll be all AI run and digital run. And every time that you see them, it'll remind you of the virtue signaling. That's all coming. I think guys like Dan Bilzerian put too much up in. Yeah, it's true. I mean, that's a big part of it. But you guys probably would understand like Dan Bilzerian, right? Do you know that he was in a lot of trouble with Ignite before he went and started talking about Israel all the time? You really think that he doesn't have an agenda? He was already in a lot of trouble for illegally or allegedly misusing investor funds. So then he ran around and started talking about Israel so that if he himself gets hit for his own shit that he was doing, likely, then he can say that Israel are just persecuting him. So people don't see the chessboard. That's a chess play. My dad was managing Ignite when has massive amounts of fraud convictions from the past. He's not allowed to touch any companies. Investors lost a fuck ton of money that company. And now I run around and I talk about those. And then if anyone hits me with any lawsuits or anything, I say that I'm just being persecuted against because I'm talking about the Jews. See, that's again, people don't see that's this 4D chess, but I'm playing like 400D, so I can see all of the pieces. I know why people do shit. Like I know people don't do shit for no reason. So if someone's gone that way, then I know that there's something very deeply pushing them in that direction. And his is I don't want to take responsibility for my own actions. See, the Jews, like, I do think that they control large amounts of the media and all of this crap, but sitting there and yelling about them all day, do you think that that's not to be paid for? Like, no one's doing that for free. Again, they're just doing about it from the other side. They're doing it to duck their responsibility. Investors lost the fuck ton of money, and my dad's not meant to be touching any funds, and he was allegedly running my business. So a lot of people lost a lot of money. Exactly. Well, ignited a lot of fucking investor money. They lost fucking tons of money. I think bought like 100 million or something or more. They were talking about having CBD products, and then they only delivered the fucking, what are they called? The little sticks and shit. So they essentially didn't deliver much of what they thought that they would deliver. But of course, it's easy to say from the sidelines. It's not my company. But I don't really think he has a lot of business acumen. I mean, besides flying around in jets, with probably investor funds, I don't know too much about that. I don't think it's very good promotion that your CEO is running around flying in jets. Doesn't look very good as the company's share creators. That's it. You have one of the biggest social medias ever. You have one of the biggest audiences for that specific product that's ever existed, and you still failed. That is not easy to do. That's all that I have to say. You had the perfect audience and perfect marketing. You had everything already there, and you somehow failed as a company. How? That would be my question. Like that's just the truth of it. That's it. But again, I don't say things. Most people dick ride. Like someone has a big audience, therefore I'm just going to dick ride them on the benefit that maybe I get something later. I don't care. I already have my own shit. But I'm also happy to go through their own criticism. If someone wants to criticize me, they can. It doesn't worry me. If it's the truth, then the truth is the truth. Why are you afraid of the truth? Like, if you can't sit there and talk about things that are truthful, then you can't complain about the others that are kind of suppressing the truth as well. But yeah, in general, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and then SRB Crypto, if you guys want to join, or TCM, if you guys want to join. So people ask me what SRB Crypto is. It's just my crypto group that I run. I've had a few good calls this week. I think I had Horizon Zen. I was calling it at $12 in the group. Now it's 21. AIA, I was calling it at $1.10 in the group. Now it's like $4.50. And there's another one that I've called. I can't say it on here because you guys haven't paid shit. But again, if you guys, I'll give you guys a free tip. But if you were buying Sui at $1.80, you'd want to sell at $5 in like Q2. So there's free money if you want. And then TCM is the complete man. So I just run a men's community. Essentially, we do exercises and a bunch of stuff to find who you are, and then just kind of then start to fix inside and then start to fix the outside. So yeah, it's just an elite members community, and then I run Breaking Free, which is a smaller product, and essentially it's again a product to be able to find who you are and what it is that you want. Because again, you would change the world by changing inside first. It's the only way. Thoughts on Sam Altman accused of murdering? I mean, I don't know. Like, obviously, this is speculation, but I would believe that that was a suspicious death for sure. Something wrong with Sam Altman? Like, there's a lot of things wrong with him. It's obvious. Like, there's something really very deeply wrong with him. There's something very deeply wrong with him, Musk, and Peter Thiel. Those three, there's something very wrong with those people. Something much more wrong than, like, even Bezos or anything like that. There's something wrong with those three. Musk is on there as well. Musk is saber rattling for you guys to run around the UK and throw your lives away. A person who's never even been in a fight, but he's telling you to go and throw your life away on the street with Tommy Robinson, who's fucking in Israel every second week. You're going to be false flagged. Like, you're just going to be someone who's a disposable person. They want chaos because they're trying to reinstate the district phase, like the lockdowns. This is the fucking, you will have Aslavs walking around the drive through the street. Districts, no movement, UBI. Understand that this chaos phase is coming because they don't want you rioting on the street, because you would be. You'd be out front of OpenAI. You'd be out front of XAI. You wouldn't let them be developing the system that's going to enslave and replace you. You'd be at Palantir. But when they convince you that your problem is Muslims, or your problem is this, or your problem is that, then you're going to fight them. Well, yeah, Tommy Robinson's very regularly in Israel. He's posts there all the time. He's running around with Mossad clothes on and crap. And now he just got off. He was meant to go to prison, and he just got off because of Musk apparently paid his legal fees. Why do you think that is? All your heroes are dead. Like, anyone who's actually out there to make a difference is either dead, in prison. Like, Charlie Kirk was obviously making a difference. That's why he got his head blown off. And that's a statement. Like, I understand when they do that. That was a ritualistic killing. This, like, Candace Owens runs around, and that's all psyop. Like, that's all controlled. They could get rid of her tomorrow if they wanted to. They could. Like, all those people could go. Like Tucker Carlson, all that. They're all psyops. His dad was in the agency, and so was he. He's an agent. Like, this idea of leading Christianity movements and shit like that, that's the most valuable, because the most important part of the control structure isn't anything other than killing Christians. That's all it's about. If you actually check the root of the issue, that's all it's about. How do I get to the top of the shit pile so I can shit on Christians? That's all I want. That's what they think. Like, that's how they play it. How do I suppress and hurt them the most? But how do you suppress and hurt them when they also have a large amount of numbers in the US? You need their voter base, but later on you won't. With the digital IDs and this UBI and things like that, they'll be on a decay. To sit there and tick the box and say that you're a Christian or you're Catholic, whatever, you'll be on a decay from that moment onwards. You'll be punished lightly at first, and then louder and louder and louder to get you to denounce Christ. It's the truth of the matter. But that's it. So yeah, guys, and SRB Crypto's up, TCM's up, and then Breaking Free's up. If you guys want to be in there, you can. How do you have hope to be good person if all your heroes are dead? Well, you have to become your own hero. I mean, again, like, that's the idea. Heroes is, again, you have a hero, but you probably have a diluted version of who they exactly were. A lot of the stuff from history is like kind of rewritten or made up, I would believe. But you live a life knowing that they crucified the perfect man. So why do you imagine what they'll do to you? That's just the truth of it. Like a guy lived a life that was perfect and he still got had a pretty shitty end. So why do you think that you should have one that's so great? But also it's a way that kind of shows you the funnel to come, in my view. Because remember, I believe that the Bible was to play out in one life cycle, not like others think, where essentially we were here thousands of years. I don't believe that. I think that you were born here or that you essentially spawned here and that you have a framework or a book that gives you time to understand how things are meant to go. And regardless of what you do, this is how it will play out. And once Christ is within your heart, then now it's yours to lose. Like, how do I get you to essentially abandon him? Your soul, once it enters your body through alignment, how do I get you to lose it now? Some people don't have one. I mean, most don't. Most people here don't have a soul. Most people here, it would be debatable if they're just background people. They're just NPCs, like they are nothing. They're not real. Like they're real in that you can see them and touch them and things like that, but they don't have any depth of character. Like they're not born of the same stuff. You look in their eyes and you see that there's nothing there. They're not born of the same stuff that I'm born from, and that's a thing. But essentially, once your soul enters your body, I believe by a period of alignment, it chooses you. Then it's now yours to lose. And how do you get to sell it is important. Once you accept Christ or whatever it is, and again, understand that if you're a Muslim, if you're a Jewish, whatever, I'm not saying that you're bad or all that stuff. It's your life. I have believed what I believe, but again, it's like, how do they get you to denounce whatever God it is that you have? You know, I'm not saying that one is better than the other and that it means yours is irrelevant or anything like that. It's your choice. I would never jump on here and say, you know, one is bad because of the other. I don't like that Israel control many things, but if I see a Jewish person on the street, I would never think to like run around and beat them up or anything like that. It's their life. But I do realize that they're becoming on the top of the shit pile, and there are essentially some of them are causing a lot of the issues through the companies that they own and things like that. They're doing a lot of damage to society. A lot of the porn industry, OnlyFans, Pump Fun, a lot of the shit, you know, the like gambling platforms, a lot of the stuff that damages people, they seem to be a reoccurring factor in. So, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look into that sort of idea. But again, they're within their reason to have it. Their dating apps are another. They're within their reason to do it. So, but I mean, the degeneracy that you generally find them in there, like pretty deep in there. And then the ideas before World War II, a lot of those ideas are coming about. People don't realize before World War II, there were a lot of children prostituted on the street, Germans. And then Hitler himself come back from the war and he was injured. And then he saw that his people were being sent to the slaughterhouse. And then one specific denomination was kind of buying everything and then discriminating against the Germans who were dying in the war. So you're fighting for a country that a new people have come in, and then they discriminate against you in your country while you go and fight for that country. And then you come back, and now there's a big problem because he looked around and saw that his like people that he knows, his people were being treated as second-class citizens in their own country that they bled for, and the other country didn't. Like Israel and things like that, like they don't even have a fighting force that matters. Like their defense forces be beating up children. Like their forces are nothing. Like it's a paper force. Their force is the US. The US is a massive force, right? Their soldiers are a complete beast. They're the best in the world. But that's their backing. It's like the kid in school who starts a bunch, I don't know, fucking John Jones behind him, but he starts a bunch of fights. John Jones has to end them. That's pretty much it. But then essentially the guy starts and he's like, I know that I'll always get bailed out, so I'll just start more and more fighting. And it's not harmonious. Like people are tired of it. And that's the nature of it. See, talking about this idea, you can get your channel cancelled, and that's why I don't have many viewers. But I mean, it's something that you unfortunately have to notice. The great noticing will continue, but you won't be able to do anything about it. So again, if you guys want to join Breaking Free, you can and check it out. And there's crypto components in there as well. And we'll just get more and more additions over time. It's 40 a month. I think it's still 40 a month for now. And check it out. And yeah, support the channel if you want and see more of these fucking streams and things, but I'll still produce them. I don't get paid for them and anything like that. And I try to always keep them free. I think that I provide pretty good value for free shit. I don't think anyone answers questions like me. Most people just tell you to buy their shit, which of course you can, but I also try to help you as I can. But yeah, so other than that, this is my channel is Stephen Ronald Bell for my stuff. And other than that, I'll talk to you guys soon. And yeah, I'm about to go for SRB crypto, and the rest of you talk to you soon. Don't let this shit get you down, and you guys will be fine. But don't surrender, so to speak. And remember, all surrender, it begins inside. That's a part of it. I'm not saying that, like, I'm not on here telling you guys that you guys will all be millionaires and your life's going to be so fucking great and all this shit. Because maybe it's not going to be, you're not going to be a millionaire, but a lot of you need to find the ideas of like listening to the voice within yourself. Because when you say that, oh, I want to be this and I want to be that, there's still parts missing. Like, what do you do that doesn't require a lot of money? Like, do you draw? Do you do art? Do you fucking like to, I don't know, play an instrument? Do you like to, I don't know, jump on and do any designing? Do you like to create in the world, not just consume? Creation and consumption are very different. Do you create anything? Do you know how to make something that someone looks at and feels touched by? Poetry, anything? Because consumption is the opposite. I only know how to inhale and eat and fucking do a bunch of shit. Do you like to make food? Do you like to cook? Do you like to do something? I'm not saying what it is, but creation is the highest frequency, and then authenticity is also the highest, but creation is very important. Understand that when you make a meal, you're closer to God than someone is driving a Lambo, because you're creating something, like something existed, like you've done it. You're not consuming. Consumption is much closer to Satan, to be honest, and that's the truth. All right, lads, till next time. Talk to you soon.